Hola Yuppie everybody! I'm back! I am back for some Umineko! Sorry for that slight delay on the start. I wanted to get some snacks. I wanted to eat strawberries, but the strawberries weren't good anymore, even though I bought them just yesterday. And so I got myself some cheese snacks. That and Umineko was starting to glitch out for a second, so I had to redo my setup. However, without further ado, we're gonna continue Umineko today from where we left off yesterday. Sorry, not yesterday, last time. And here we are. Don't worry, the screen is light right now. Now let me just adjust the volume a little here. Let me just test it. I think the volume sounds okay this way. Okay, sound seems to be working just fine. So to recap, what we did last time was the rich people were playing chess with each other. And, well, how do I put this? They started doing big brain moves with one another. You had two women catfighting, and now everybody's talking about the riddle of Beatrice, about gouge the eye and kill, gouge the head and kill, and stuff like that. And everybody wants to know how to solve the riddle. And okay, let's go on. Oh, wait a minute. I just remembered something. I wanted to... wait. I actually wanted to do something for this stream before I actually continue reading, and that is I want to look at the character tips and the character refs and comment on them a little. Maybe you'll find some hints for the mysteries here. So let's start off with Kinzo, the big man, the big man himself. The aged head of the Shiromiya family, even though it has been announced that he has just a few months to live, he's brimming with energy. Though he amassed a vast fortune in the past, he never made any announcements regarding the inheritance, which worries his children. Okay, yeah, seems like it, according to the last episode. He is strongly influenced by the West and is a rabid fan of the occult. Yes, I see that. His study is packed with mysterious grimoires, whatever those things are. So let's do just all of them from left to right and top to bottom. Shiromiya Kraus, or like der gute Klaus, Kinzo's first child. As the oldest of the four siblings, he leads the family conference. However, the other siblings think he is trying to get all the inheritance for himself, and this further strains the tensions between them, as we saw last time, yes. He's a real estate investor and has put a lot of money in the development of the resort. However, his results have been harshly criticized. Now, this outfit is kind of generic if you think about it, but somehow it's still kind of cool and unique. Them white shoes though. Awesome, I want them. I'm gonna steal them. Kraus, watch out. Ushiromiya Natsuhi, Kraus's wife, who has a really pretty dress, to be honest. Like, damn. I want that dress. I'm gonna break into the house. Alright, Kraus's wife. She manages the household of the Shiromiya head family in place of her husband, who's a lazy shit, who takes little interest in such matters. She was in charge of all preparations and arrangements for his family conference. She possessed a strong sense of responsibility and a great deal of pride. However, neither her husband nor his siblings understand her very well, so her position is far from enviable. Yeah, as we saw last time, how Natsuhi was like, I am the the head in charge of the family's kitchen, and that doesn't, I don't know, that doesn't sound as powerful in that time, I guess. It's still powerful. I think she's great, but, you know, we are like in the 80s here. And Eva tore her apart, right? So, yeah. Ushinomiya Jessica, Kraus and Natsuhi's daughter. In the absence of any irregularities, it is thought that she will eventually inherit the headship of the Ushinomiya family, or technically, her husband will. However, she seems to have no interest in all of this. She was born with weak bronchi, and is sometimes assailed by sudden asthma attacks. Aw, poor girl. But I like her outfit a lot. It's very simple, but very nice. Something that I really like about the When They Cry series is how simple the designs of the outfits are, but still very unique. Attending physician Nanjo. Kinzo's attending physician and longtime friend. Once ran a hospital in Nijima, but he turned it over to his son and now enjoys his old age in peace. In peace? Like, at Kinzo's house? Are you sure about that? Now that Kinzo's constant suspicion has reached extraordinary heights, Nanjo is one of the very few people he trusts. Thanks to Nanjo's big-hearted nature, he has been able to continue his friendship with Kinzo, despite the latter's tendency to fly into a rage at the slightest provocation. Yeah. Yeah, he looks like a nice man. Chunky and soft and friendly. Ushinomiya Eva, the pants are weird. Like, when I looked at Eva's outfit from just like the waist, I thought she would have like just the dress but not the pants. Interesting choice, Eva. But I won't question the third chairman of the family before I get slapped by that fan. Alright. Kinzo's second child. She's hostile towards her brother Kraus and opposes him whenever she can. From issues dealing with the family fortune to the question of who will succeed the family headship. Normally, she would have lost her place in the Ushinomiya family register upon her marriage, but she managed to forcibly overcome this by having her husband take her family name. Okay. Yes. And her husband, Ushinomiya Hideyoshi, he took his wife's name upon their marriage and became a member of the Ushinomiya family. He therefore does not possess the spiteful genes passed around through Ushinomiya family members. And his bright smile is very refreshing at the family conferences. Yeah, it was. He was like the tension breaker in that last discussion. He started his business from scratch and now works as the president of a medium-sized restaurant chain. This chain seems to be growing and performing extremely well. Are you sure about that? Last episode told me something very different. George, the good boy! He is a good boy, I trust him! Ushinomiya George, Eva and Hideyoshi's son. An affordable young man. A fable, not affordable. Wow. He's not affordable. George is not affordable even with 50 gold. An affable young man liked by everyone in the family. He is currently studying as an assistant for his father's company. And it seems he dreams of making it on his own one day. As the oldest of the 4 cousins, he acts as their leader and an arbitrator. Yes, I trust George. He is a good boy. TLDR. Be more like George Battler. Rudolf, der Rude. Kinzo's third child. Along with his sister Eva, he intends to make his voice heard during the family conferences to prevent their oldest sibling's Cross from keeping all their father's wealth for himself. His former wife, Azumu, passed away 6 years ago, and he married his current wife, Kirie, shortly after that. Right. Who is awesome. Let's move on to her, the more interesting person in the family. Ushinomiya Kirie, Rudo's second wife. She has already worked alongside him for some time before the death of his first wife, at which she openly took the position of his wife. She has served as Rudolph's right hand in several shady pieces of business guided them to success. She is quick thinking and well trusted by her husband. Good, she's a good woman. My cat is trying to have my snack. Stop that. Not now. Right. And now to their son. the not good boy. I'm sure he develops into a somewhat good boy later. But as of now, I want to chancla battler. Bad boy. Bad. Not bad, but more like battler, be better, please. The son of Rudolph and his first wife, Azumu. When his father married the second wife shortly after Azumu's death, Battler rebelled and went to live with his grandparents on his mother's side. However, both of these grandparents passed away, and he has now returned to the Ushinomiya family after 6 years. Their family conference is a chance for him to renew his friendship with his cousins after a 6 years gap. Good. Answers of Kirie. Now that you mention it, maybe I'll see more of her later and can be more suspicious of her later. But if she was involved with shady businesses in the past, maybe she has something up her sleeve. Let's see about that. Next, servant Genji. Yes, the Genji. The Genji, yeah. The leader of the servants who worked for the Ushinomiya family. The head furniture, if you may say. He has served Kinzo longer than any other and is the person most trusted by that old man. Since he serves Kinzo directly, Cross and Natsuhi think of him as being a spy for Kinzo. More or less, yeah. Now, Rosa. I kind of accidentally skipped the Rosa, but alright. Kinzo's fourth child, and the worst one. She is by far the youngest of the 4 siblings. It seems that this gives her a weaker position at the family conference. She manages a design company, but she has yet to start taking it seriously, and its financial situation is far from favorable. Damn, Rosa, if you suck at your business, just give it to me. I will lead her. I will lead the business to success, since you can't do it yourself. Next, the good one. Ushinomiya Maria, Rosa's daughter. She is a baby girl, baby. Baby girl, baby. Evil. Okay, let's move on. Rosa's daughter. Her father's identity is unknown. She can't shake off the habit of speaking like a young child, which often earns her a scolding. Come on, she's like 6. She's allowed to talk like that? She has no interest in studying or making friends, but is very interested in things concerning the occult and black magic. She would get along with Kinzo if he wasn't such a butthead. Thanks to her excellent powers of memorization, she knows all kinds of obscure trivia. Oh, relatable. This is very relatable, Maria. I also have so much obscure trivia in my head. Boy, like, I can spout anything out about some subjects of interest, like, oh, did you know that? And people are like, what the hell? Where did you know that from? Alright. Servant Shannon. A good girl. I love her. A young but experienced servant. She is normally calm and performs her job efficiently, but she messes up when she gets nervous. Yeah, poor girl. Furthermore, Shannon is nothing more than a pseudonym that she uses when on duty, not her real name. Oh? I want to know her real name. Shannon, please. Tell me. Canon. Oh my god, the pants and the socks? He looks like he came out of a Halloween festival. Oh my god, what an edgy boy. A young servant. He performs his duty silently and diligently, but it is not so highly regarded as a servant due to his unsociable nature. Yes, and how he speaks like, I am furniture at every instance. There are multiple other servants with the on character in the pseudonyms. He and Shannon just happen to be the ones on duty on that day. Oh, okay. He looks like he's from French. It sure is French here. Servant Goda. A servant hired as a cook. And who has a magnificent butt chin. He hasn't served his family long, but through his earlier jobs and previous experiences, he has cultivated a talent for entertaining guests. Because of this, he is very highly regarded as a servant. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's also because of his very magnificent, rounded out butt chin. And the best for last, the very best for last, Servant Kumasawa. She is my favorite. This elderly woman is a part-time who, though she has quit her job several times along the way, has served the family for a great many years in total. Oh my god, she has quit the job and just came back? You're like, fuck this, I'm done. And then she comes back like, oh, hi guys. She is a true powerful woman. She is crafty and more than competent when it comes to performing her duties, but because of her chattiness and love of rumor, she is not highly regarded as a servant. No. You guys have bad taste. She is the best one. She is the best servant. Don't at me. Alright. Those were all the tips we have so far. Yes. Alright. So let's continue. They're talking about the riddle now, and now let's go on. There was a notebook inside the handbag Maria was always carrying around, and Beatrice's epitaph was copied onto it. Damn, you're a diligent girl. Thanks to that, we were all able to challenge a puzzle of the epitaph, while walking down this beach. Jessica and the rest had already tried to solve it several times, and had already gotten bored with it. However, since this was a first for me, I was so excited that I couldn't stop. Battler is just really excited about murder, I guess. It really tickled my sense of adventure. Murder! It's adventure! Let's start with the first line. Uh-huh. By the way, if my model glitches out during the stream, Vtube Studio seems to have some slight glitches today, and I can't seem to fix them, so if my model starts like lagging a little bit, that's why. Understandable. I like looking at fish, but I don't like touching them, especially when they're dead. I only touch them if they don't have a head and body, if then you just give me like a fish fillet or something, but for some reason I'm kind of scared of fish and I don't know why. So, I understand Maria. Yee, no. A single biscuit. Shannon-chan was faithfully keeping us company since she didn't have any afternoon chores for a while. I would have thought that since she's a servant, accompanying us would force her to take care of us and tire her out, but that didn't seem to be the case for her. On the contrary, she seemed to enjoy joining in on a conversation with people close to her age. When I asked, I heard that she was the sort of worker whose room and board were supplied by her employer. So normally the only person close to her in age was Jessica. Yeah, I can imagine how that might be pretty dull. Okay. You will see a village. I'm pretty interested in that. But you are wearing a crown! Okay, fair. Theme parks are great, yes, I agree. But castles are nice too. Maria looks like a Disneyland goer. Yeah, I can imagine that. Or Nesmiland from Shaman King.
こりゃなんだかいかにもって感じだよな。まあ、2年前の私たちもそこまでは行き着いたぜ。小田原で鮎の泳ぐ川を下った里。そこが多分小田原城あたりだろうってところまでは私たちも行き着いたさ。問題は次の行だろ。
Which is?
さて。 バトラーの鎮水理はどこまでいけるか見ものだぜ。
Imagine Battler says something that sounds so stupid and then it turns out it's gonna be correct. Jessica grinned broadly. Broadly? I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. She seemed to be implying that she would solve the puzzle long ago if it was that easy. Damn it. I'll definitely find it and keep it all for myself. 4行目。その里にて。 2人が口にし、岸を探れ。2人ってのが何のことかわからねえが、とにかく岸だな。で、岸ってなんだよ。岸って名前がつく地名でもあるのかな。曽我岸という地名が小田原にあるんだそうですよ。お？おお、詳しいな。 Shannon is a smart girl. No, she's just smart. Or maybe she wants to go too. I guessed it. 2年前の私たちも同じ推理に行き着いたってわけさ。 わざわざ地図を広げて調べたんだぜ。 Every time George shows up with this sprite, I instinctively start sweating. But at the same time, I trust him. でも、そこからがわからないんだ。次の5行目には、その土地のどこに鍵があるかは記してない。 マリアちゃん、読んでくれるかい？そこに黄金鏡への Sleeps the 鍵が眠る The key to the golden land. Yes, good girl! She also a smart girl. その広大な土地のどこかに鍵が隠されてて、ノーヒントってんじゃ。こいつはお手上げってわけだぜ。Maybe metaphors. Right? Not everything has to be super direct. 鍵が手に入らないことには、その先の行に進めないぜ。ジョージ兄貴、曽我岸ってのはどんなとこなんだ？さあね。行ったことはないからわからないけど。 地図によると山の中みたいだよ。Alright. 確か浅間山の山麓みたいだったね。なんだかパッとしねえな。宝のありかを隠した謎ってのはもっとぴったりとはまるもんじゃねえのかよ。I think the riddle would be less exact and more cryptic, so the gold wouldn't be found so easy. どうも曽我岸ってのがそもそも間違いって気がするぜ。 私は曽我岸を疑ってるぜ。私たちが知らないだけで、例えばじいさまの子供時代を過ごした家とかがあるかもしれないだろ。Yeah, that's an example. 懐かしき故郷をって行があるくらいだもんな。シャノンはじいさまによく酒とか継がされてたろ。昔話とか聞かされたことないのか？ I don't think so. 親方様は昔の話はほとんどされません。ただ
後ろ宮家が滅びかけた関東大震災について非常に人事のように話されることがありましたので、関東地方よりずっと遠方にお住まいだったかもしれません。
That's an interesting conclusion.
後宮本家は小田原に住んでたかもしれないけど、
Like paying attention to the speaking patterns of how someone retells an event like that. I reiterate, Shannon is smart.
おじい様はよく自分のことを分家も分家、後継ぎに最も縁遠かったと言われるくらいだからね。
ってことはつまり懐かしき故郷ってのがすでに小田原じゃない可能性もあるってことだな。
Yeah, possibly. I can imagine it's like a very secluded space, like one that's a mini village or something, like pinky size or dust size in a map.
懐かしき故郷というのが後宮家のルーツを指さないのであれば、小田原説は初めから間違ってることになっちゃうね。もちろん曽我騎士の疑いが晴れたわけじゃないけれども、例えば幼少の頃を小田原で過ごし、その後遠方へ引っ越した可能性もあるだろうし。
おお、さっきから何の話かわかんない。
Imagine Maria's like, I already know the answer to the riddle. You people are just stupid. Maria had been completely left out of the conversation, and she now sat puffing out her cheeks in boredom.
つまりだな、黄金すごろくの最初のスタート地点が決まらないことには何も始まらないってことだぜ。いや待てよ、最初の5行で見つかるのは鍵だろ。鍵なんてなくても扉はぶち壊して入ることだってできるはずだぜ。
Batter's like, if we can't find the key, let's just fucking brute force everything. Violence is the answer.
その先の推理に入ってもいいんじゃねえか。
その発想はなかったぜ。まあいいや、どうせ暇つぶしなんだ。続きを聞かせろよ、バトラの推理。でもその先からは急に物騒になるんですよね。
Oh yes, we start talking about murder. Shannon-chan frowned slightly. After looking back at Maria's notebook to recall what was written there, yeah, I was forced to agree.
第一の番に鍵の選びし6人を生贄に捧げよう。いきなり物騒になるな。
Yep.
第二の番には寄り添う2人を引き裂けときたもんだ。
Tear apart the two who are clones.
恋仲を破談させるのか、文字通り引き裂くという意味なのか。
Maybe both.
わかりかねるけど、どっちにせよ気持ちの悪い話だぜ。
その第二の番の解釈を別にしても、第一の番に6人。
How many people are we? Wait. I'm gonna count right now because I'm pretty sure that riddle is gonna count to us. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 16, 17. Shit, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, Jesus Christ, I can't count. Okay, I think we have the numbers for this mystery.
第4の番から第8の番までで5人。少なく見積もっても11人が生贄にされなきゃならない。
So more than half of our cast. A worthy sacrifice. I propose we keep Jessica, George, Maria, and Kumazawa alive. And Shannon.
その結果、第9の番に魔女が蘇って。
Yes, Yuppie can count. Yay! Clap, clap.
最後は極めつけだな。
第9の番に魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしない。
Oh, everybody has to die. No!
結局は みんな死んでしまいます。それでようやく次の第10の番にゴールってことになってんな。みんな死んじまうのに黄金鏡へ至るだろうって言われても困ったもんだぜ。
鍵を手に旅に出た当人も生き残れないに含めるのかどうかは解釈の分かれるところだね。
Okay, so either everyone dies or only one is left alive.
しかしよ、最後のところには面白いことが書いてあるぜ。ゴールした後、魔女からもらえる4つの宝の行だよ。一つは全ての黄金。問題は次だ。全ての死者の魂を蘇らせるとあるぜ。みんな死んじまったっていうのとかけてるような気がしねえか。
Possibly.
それを言われれば、次の失った愛すらも蘇らせる第2の番の寄り添いし2人を引き裂けにかけているようにも見えますね。
Oh, makes sense.
そうだね。そして4つ目も第9の番にかけてある。第9の番に蘇った魔女を4つ目の宝が再び眠りにつかせている。
好意的に解釈すりゃ、死んだり別れさせたりと忙しいが、最後には全部チャラになるわけだな。
I wonder if this is like how Umineko as a whole is gonna go. Like, in Higurashi you have all the arcs going pretty tragically, but in the end everything is fine, at least until Go and Sotsu came by. I wonder if Umineko is gonna be the same, technically, and this poem is basically like a poem to how the series runs.
手元にはたっぷりの黄金だけが残るって寸法だぜ。
死んだり蘇らせたり、別れさせたりくっつかせたりと、魔女様はお忙しいこったね。
ついでに起きたり眠ったりな。
やれやれ。せっかくの隠し黄金の話も魔女の話が絡んじまうと急にうさんくさくなっちまうぜ。
Yes, Beatrice is here to mess shit up.
違いないな。
I laughed along with Jessica. After all, the idea of a witch was just too ridiculous. Of course, once we started laughing like that, Maria, who believed in the witch, got angry. Uh-oh. Oh no.
魔女はすごい。魔法で何でもできる。殺すことも、生き返らせることも、愛を与えることも、奪うことも。空も飛べるし、姿を透明にできるし、黄金もパンも生み出せる。
The bread part is the best part. Maria, no!
いけね。悪い悪い。冗談だよ。
Don't make fun of witches! Ah! Sorry. I accidentally hit enter twice too fast. No! Not what I meant to do. Okay, Jessica apologized, sticking out her tongue, but Maria didn't accept it. She grabbed her notebook back out of my hands and, opening to some other pages, tried to prove that the witch existed. Alright, Maria's giving us the receipts. Those pages had colorful drawings of witches on them, and while conveyed the fantastical image Maria had of witches, it wasn't the normal sinister image of a crooked nose hag flying around a broom, but a dreamlike person with unnatural powers who could do anything and wore a beautiful dress. It's Beatrice, isn't it? It was just that you'd expect from an imaginative young girl. Flitting through the sky, crossing a rainbow, dancing around all night with a tea and a teapot would never get empty, no matter how much you poured out of it. Yes, that sounds like a dream. With a flourish of her staff, the stars in the sky would become candy and pour down, and the flowers that produced sweets would bud by the roadside. To Maria, witches were the only concept that could embody the magical dream that so captivated her. As she grew older, it was the last remaining thing that could give richness to her dull and plain everyday life. That's why Maria believed in witches. She didn't want that dream of hers to be tarnished. So don't tarnish it, Battler! That's why she didn't want anyone to tarnish the epitaph, which affirmed the existence of witches. Because the niche... Sorry, what the hell? I meant to say witch, because the witch named Beatrice is Maria's dream.
マリアちゃんにとっては これは黄金の隠し場所を示すものじゃなくて、魔女を蘇らせるための魔法なんだって。
So it was a single link between Maria and the witch. Maria was very angry and clung to George Aniki, the good boy. Jessica and I scratched our heads and apologized. You better. It might not be possible to smooth things over again like the time she got mad in front of the portrait. Maria didn't seem willing to be easily consoled. Unlike Jessica and I, who hung our heads wondering what to do, Shannon-chan timidly opened her mouth.
マリア様、ご存知ですか？私たち使用人の間では、ベアトリーチ様の怪談が語り継がれているんですよ。
Ooh.
そうだったっけ？シャドン、聞かせてやるよ。
Yes.
私は知らないんだけど、使用人の間じゃかなり有名な話らしいぜ。
Tell us.
何の話だ？怪談？
うん。僕たちが生まれる前からある話らしいね。
へえ。
母さんにも話を聞かされたことがあるよ。
はい。
Oh, okay. It has been passed down since the time of the mansion's construction.
使用人たちは、お屋敷には昼と夜で違う主がいると囁き合っていたそうです。
Alright. The tale that Shannon told was just like a typical campfire ghost story. If there was a forest with a witch living inside it, then of course the witch would come pay the mansion a visit from time to time. At some point, this ghost story naturally sprouted up between the servants.
ちゃんと閉めたはずの窓や扉や鍵がもう一度見回りに来たら開いていたとか、消したはずの明かりがついていたり、
I'm pretty sure it was Kinzo.
つけたはずの明かりが消えていたり、置いたはずのものがなくなっていたり、置いた覚えのないものが置かれていたり、そういうことがあるたびに古い使用人たちは魔女が姿を消してお屋敷を訪れ、いたずらをしていったのだろうと囁き合ったそうです。
Hmm.
ほらいる。ベアトリーチェはいる。ああ、いるよな。私も昔よく登校の時に限ってカバンが見つからなかったりしたもんだぜ。
Beatrice stole Jessica's bag. Maria puffed out her chest with an ooh, ooh, as though this was final proof of the witch's existence. She's gonna take everyone to court in the future. If I opened my mouth, Maria would probably be hurt again, so I didn't. Yes, Patler, shut up. I mean, you hear this kind of story everywhere. Depending on the place, they might blame it on a dwarf or an elf. The only difference is that they call it a witch on this island. Of course, walking around a vast, elegant mansion at night would be a little unsettling. It's an island devoid of people. Since the mansion is so drafty, walking around on the night of a thunderstorm would certainly be eerie. Uh-oh. Yes, it would be.
輝く蝶々が舞っているのを見たという使用人も。カノン君もそれらしいものを以前夜の見回りの時に見たことがあると言ってました。
お。
あと最近ではお屋敷の中で深夜に不思議な足音をよく聞くと使用人の間で話題です。
I can't imagine the footsteps being like Kinzo extremely drunk.
私たちは肖像画の中のベアトリーチェ様が姿を消してお屋敷の中を散歩しているんだろうと囁き合ってるんですよ。ずいぶん前ですが、私もそうかもしれない足音を夜の見回りの時に聞いたことがあります。
ひゅー、そりゃ怖えな。
Yeah, a little.
怯えることはないんですよ。ベアトリーチェ様は親方様とは異なるもう一人のお屋敷の主です。
Now Beatrice is a ruler I would gladly serve in this mansion.
だから変に怯えたりしないで、
she can just put a cup in the kitchen and I'm like, yes, yes, my queen, yes, my queen, I will just give you your tea. Beatrice.
ただし、敬意を持たないと恐ろしいんだったね。
Welp, guess Battler can write his prayers. He can write his will now.
はい。私が務めを始める直前にベアトリーチェ様のことを悪く言っていたそうです。
See what happens. Maybe it was Maria.
ベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れたのだろうと噂し合ったそうです。バトラとジェシカ、きっとお怒りに触れる。
No, not Jessica. Batter is okay, but not Jessica.
わあ、悪かったぜ。お怒りに触れちゃたまるね。謝るよ、マリア。もちろん、魔女様にも謝るぜ。
She's not gonna accept the apology. Beatrice is gonna be like, Batter, you're next.
ベアトリーチェ様、ごめんなさい。よそ者のザレ言と思って勘弁してやってください。
私も謝るぜ。ベアトリーチェ様、ごめんなさい。これで魔女様、私たちを許してくれるかな？
I'm not sure.
わかんない。魔女は気まぐれだから、許してくれるときは許してくれるし、許さないときは許さない。
Yes. That sounds about right. I too am like that. I forgive only when I want to.
君とジェシカちゃんがベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れないようにするいいおまじないとかないかな。何か魔除けとかさ。
Oh, I wonder if this will be like relevant in future chapters. By relying on Maria, who was proud of knowing the most about witches, George was trying to revive her self-esteem. Once again, I've got to admire his ability to calm kids down. After taking a moment to cross her arms and seriously ponder whether there might be a charm that could save us, she started flipping through the pages in her notebook. I thought it was just a scribbled diary, but there also seemed to be quite a few pages that looked like they'd come from a book on black magic. Maria solemnly considered a group of these pages which contained things that looked like magic circles. Apparently grandfather wasn't the only one with the black magic hobby. Yep. When Maria finally found what she was looking for, she snapped the notebook shut and threw it to her handbag. She then began fishing through that bag's content. There seemed to be various jumbled of things in there. Damn. Maria is gonna flex on Kinzo like, check this out. I have all the black magic and occult knowledge. You are nothing. And I'm only 6. After a while, she took various pieces of junk, although they were probably important magic items to Maria, and repeatedly threw them back in, saying they were wrong. It was all a little humorous, just like when Dora, Beepmon! I know it's Doraemon, but I love how they so tactfully, censored it. Just like when Doraemon took out the wrong tool, since she seemed to discover what she was looking for. With a face that was unimaginably cheery when compared to the intense expression she had worn until now, she held those out to Jessica and me. Maria's such a good girl. I adore her. I grabbed it and saw that it was a very cheap-looking charm. It looked like a bracelet made from a plastic rosary with a scorpion-themed medal attached. Haven't you ever seen those cheap Zodiac-themed accessoires? The kind you might win in a crane game at an arcade. It really looked like something like that. I bet Maria made it herself. There were 2 of them. Probably one for me and one for Jessica. However, the very fact that there were 2 of them made them feel even more like cheap manufactured goods, making it pretty hard to think of them as magical items. If Maria made them, I'm gonna punch you, Butler. Mm-hmm. Oh. Interesting. I wonder if this is just an Umineko thing or if it's like a general witch lore thing. Do it, punch him, curse him. I'd said too much and angered Maria again. Maria took out her notebook again, pointing out various pages as she went on and on about how the scorpion had such incredible holy power that it had been used in magic-repelling magical circles since ancient times.
他の使用人の子から聞いたことがあります。サソリって魔術では魔除けのシンボルとして描かれることもあるんだとか。へえ、そうなのか。ああ、サソリは悪い魔法や最悪から守ってくれる。
Bad magic and calamity.
エメラルドは心に平和をもたらしてくれる。だから二重で効果がある。
I'm actually continuously still interested if there's like some kind of witch wiki lore thing in which these kind of things are written down, because I'm interested in seeing how much Ryukishi took from witch lore and like witch folklore and what he made up on his own.
サソリがエメラルドを抱いて守ってるね。なるほど。これはご利益がありそうだよ。
I really want to make fun of those wordless looking charms. Battler, I'm coming to the island barefoot. With my bare hands, I'm gonna smash your face in. But as I watched Maria explaining with all of her heart and realized that she found them for our sakes, I started to feel like it might actually work, even if it was just a prize from some game center. The material quality of the charm didn't matter. What mattered was the strength of her feelings. Exactly! Even if I don't think of myself as a sort of loser who'd laugh at something like that.
そっか。ありがとな。ベアトリーチェ様には謝ったけどよ。万が一たたりがある時でも、マリアのこのお守りのおかげで安心だぜ。
Appreciate her charm, or else. Or else. Sleep with one eye open, man. Because I am coming for you. With a knife. I have a demon cat on my side. Do not fuck with me, Battler. Now that's a cheat I want. I want to put it on my wallet and so that my money never goes away. Alright, I'm doing the second one. I'm going into like a kid's toy store and I'm gonna be like, do you have a scorpion charm with an emerald? Because I want to save my bank account. This is why Maria never is gonna be poor. She has endless money. Oops. Dang it, I keep hitting the keys. Shannon-chan clipped her hands together and Maria stuck out her chest. She was totally in a good mood again. It's probably best if we let her lead the conversation a bit longer if it will keep her in such a good mood. Come to think of it, she looked a bit bored when we were getting excited about the hidden gold, probably because she couldn't keep up. While eating the cookies Kumasawa-san had baked, Jessica and I asked Maria this and that about black magic. Maria happily chatted away in response to our questions. Each time George, Aniki, and Shannon-chan would act surprised or chime in. The clouds in the sky grew darker and darker, but we cousins really enjoyed communicating freely after a year of separation. Oh, is it time for the thunderstorm? I remember there was one when I watched the 4 episodes of the anime. Ooh! Yep, I think it's raining. Hee hee! As George Aniki rubbed his forehead, he looked up at the sky. Considering the color of the sky and the dampness of the air, it would have been odd for a raindrop to hit him. The wind also seemed to have grown a bit stronger. It's because Beatrice is protecting you. Alright, let's go. Shannon-chan looked down at her watch. It was probably well into the evening by now. Come back! Yes, Shannon, your presence is a blessing. Shannon-chan declined our help, saying that this was a servant job. But picking up a dropped fork before the waitress has to is like my purpose in life. Is it? Does Battler just go to restaurants, lets his fork drop so that the maidens go down and he's like, let me help you? Like, he thinks it's a genius flirting strategy. We folded up the blanket, gathered up the trash, and helped clean everything up. I'm gonna grab the trash before anyone else does. Battler, I'm coming. To Maria, chasing after some trash and flying by some powerful winds was just another game. By the time we finished, the wind was blowing pretty strongly. Probably a good time to head back. Yay! George Aniki perceived from her hurried appearance that very little of her free time was left. I can imagine. Genji pissed is not something I can imagine, but I can imagine he'll be like giving you that stare, but worse. Just silent treatment, that's there. I wouldn't want to be stared at by Genji with that look that he has all the time. After making a respectful bow, Shannon-chan ran towards the rose garden. Oh, I think I remembered this from the old anime. I think Maria was watching Higurashi in the Dean adaptation. I think it's one of the very few things I remember from that first attempt at seeing the anime and then being like, this isn't a good adaptation. Maria, who wasn't done having fun, agreed once television was mentioned. We climbed up the gentle stairs and returned to the rose garden. The wind had grown very strong, and the roses shook throughout the garden like ripples on the water. This might be our last chance to see the beautiful roses. I'll bet tonight's typhoon will ruin them. Ruins them. Oh no, I'm having a gut feeling this is gonna be one of the very few scenes that I actually remember from those 4 episodes. Oh god. I'm kinda scared. Yes. Right then, Maria suddenly clapped her hands. It looked like she remembered something. Oh yeah, I think this is gonna be the scene. Uh-oh. Maria apparently remembered where the rose was. She ran at full speed. The rest of us followed her. We searched everywhere around that area, but it was only a single flower. Kaninaru, thank you for following. I hope you'll have a good time. We searched everywhere around that area, but it was only a single flower among all of these roses after all. Even though we knew it was somewhere close by, we weren't able to find it. The winds making up the typhoon's front lines made roses throughout the garden undulate. It was almost like it was teasing us by making the location of Maria's rose impossible to find.
ここじゃなかったかな。少し手分けをして探してみようか。
そうだな。人海戦術で行こうぜ。なんだよ、マリア。
Hello, hello. As we made to split up and search, Maria tugged on my jacket with an unhappy face. You could tell that she didn't want us to leave that spot.
なんだよ、どうした？マリ
アのバラはここなの。ここにあるの。でも現にないぜ。この花壇の裏側だったかもな。みんなで探せば早いぜ。
She wants the flower!
マリアのバラはここなの。探して。探して。
Let's find the flower! Maria stomped her feet in irritation. She pointed at that spot and said it was definitely there, but in actuality it wasn't. Even so, Maria got mad when we said we were going to search elsewhere. We were at loss for what to do. For a while we had to stay near Maria and pretend to search through that rose thicket? Maybe the wind took it away. Maybe she's saying that it should be here but isn't. Maria became increasingly irritated. Maria's about to explode!
マリアはたまにすごくどうでもいいことを気にし始めちゃうんだよ。
ないものは探せないしね。困ったな。
Uh-oh. Just when we were at loss of what to do, Maria called out in a loud voice. Uh-oh. Do not call your mama. Don't do that. We could see Aunt Rosa in the direction Maria was waving her hand. Maybe she wanted to look at the garden one more time before the typhoon came. Or maybe she had business at the guest house. Aunt Rosa was coming from the mansion. She quickly noticed her daughter's voice and came over.
あらあら。どうしたの？みんな。何か探し物なの？探して。ママもマリアのバラを探して。
I wonder if Rosa is very short as well. Oh wait, she isn't. According to the character profile, she looks taller. It's just that here she almost looks like she's either crouching to Maria or she is in fact that short.
この辺に元気のないバラを一つ見つけて、それに目印をつけたんです。
飴玉かなんかの包み紙でキュッと。しかしマリア、確か俺の記憶が正しけりゃ、すぐ手前の目立つところに生えてたはずだぜ。足が生えてどこかに行っちまったんじゃなきゃ、他の場所だったと思うぜ。
Cute, the rose running in the background like.
違いじゃないのか。
Is she stomping?
そのうう言うのをやめなさいって何度言ったらわかるの？
Oh no.
ママも探してあげるから静かにしなさい。
I've never seen Aunt Rosa be anything other than kind and gentle, so her anger surprised me a bit. Oh boy, Battler, do I have news for you? This scene is one of the scenes that like just stayed in my head because of how much it shocked me and made me hate Rosa. Aunt Rosa began searching as well, so we went along with her for the time being. But we were already more than sure that it wasn't around here. So it didn't take long for Aunt Rosa to realize that too.
ここにはそのバラはないわよ。他の場所の間違いじゃない。これだけたくさんのバラがあるんだから。違うの。ここにあるの。
Did you hit Rosa?
ママも信じてくれない。
With that thwack sound effect.
ちゃんと信じて探してるでしょ。でもないじゃない。でもここなの。
Ja, ich glaube, es war auch ein Stampfer. The one, then someone must have ripped it out. Okay. Oh god, this hurts me. Aunt Rosa slapped Maria's left cheek with her palm. Oh no, it's as bad as I remember. In that instant, Maria was shocked into silence. Of course, it was only for an instant. When Maria realized that her wish was being rejected, she started yelling even louder. Oh boy. No! No! Oh no! No! Once again her palm slapped Maria's cheek. I'm gonna cry. Stop! This time she didn't go silent. She choked as she started crying and began to bawl in an increasingly loud voice. No! Aunt Rosa was clearly irritated and lifted her hand once more to try and shut her daughter up. I hate Rosa so bad.
Rosa おばさん。まあまあ、小さい子供のことですし、そんなマジになんなくても。
I tried to cut in with a bitter smile, rubbing my hands together. The one-time battler is good, please protect her. But Aunt Rosa glared at me with a serious face, and I realized that I should have stayed out of this. No! What, so you can hit Maria more? No! No, no, no! I'm gonna call the CVS on you, like everybody in Higurashi does for Teppei. You deserve to be in the same spot as him. Oh, this is tough. This is tough to read. And to hear. Rosa, put yourself in the boat and leave. Oh god, I hate her so much. Aunt Rosa once again raised her hand, overcome by emotion, and slapped Maria's cheek. Oh my god. Oh my god. The blood is boiling in me. It was strong enough to knock Maria over. My avatar is smiling, but I am in pure rage right now. This is the face of pure rage! I stepped between them to protect Maria, who was still on the ground crying, ooh ooh. I knew that, as an outsider, problems between parent and child were none of my business. But I wasn't brought up to just silently observe things like this. Exactly, correct. I think you're weird! God, she's 6! Shut the fuck up!
まあさすがに高校には。でも小学生ならそういう言うのも可愛いじゃないですか。
可愛い？言うのが可愛い？
Yes, it is. Shut the fuck up.
可愛いって？
My careless words seemed to have earned me Aunt Rosa's wrath. She grabbed my collar with a terrifying expression. Jesus, what?
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。マリアがいくつか知ってる？
Yes, 6!
9歳よ。
Oh, sorry. 9. But she's still less than double digits! What the hell? And? And? And?
この子、クラスでなんて言っていじめられてるか知ってるの？この変な口癖のせいで、未だに友達の一人もいないのよ。
Maybe you just suck at parenting.
無責任にマリアのこと可愛いとか言って、現実から目をそらさないで。この子の将来のことをもっともっと真剣に考えて。
I wonder if Maria might be autistic too. Some people have theorized that she is, and she does present some qualities that look like that. For example, her having special interests and the like. No! Stop hitting her! Stop it! Aunt Rosa struck Maria's quivering head, from which an increasingly unhappy voice was rising. Mangy? I tried to stop it, but Aunt Maria pushed me away. My back hit George Aniki. Can we hit Rosa instead?
Rosa おばさんもマリアちゃんの幼児言葉の一つだくらいにしか思わなかったんだけど、小学校の中学年になっても治らないのを最近はだいぶ気にしてて。
別にどういう言葉遣いをしようと。
Apparently for rich, horrible people it is.
そのまま社会人にはなれないよ。
You think?
だから見ていて気持ちのいい光景ではないけれど、これはおばさんたち親子の問題なんだよ。
George, do not make me demote you. You are a good boy. Don't make me demote you.
私もこの言葉遣いのせいでよくお袋に怒られるけどよ。
Yes, but this is horrible. You are watching a child being abused. When they put in that way, maybe even a scene as painful as this isn't something an outsider like me should butt in on. Excuse me, yes, you should butt in.
バトラ君だって小さい頃悪い癖が治らなくて怒られたことがあったんじゃないかい？
Oh my god.
まあ一つや二つ。
Oh my god, are you three just conversing while a child is being abused? I can't take this.
恥ずかしくてたまらなかったぜ。
じゃあ今のマリアちゃんたちの気持ちはわかるよね。
I don't care how Rosa feels.
僕たちにここにいてほしいとは思わないんじゃないかな。
Are you sure about that?
ジェシカちゃんにもわかるよね。
I'm gonna call the police.
怒られてるところを誰かに見られてとは思わないぜ。
I don't like to be watched either when I'm scolded, but if I had someone beating me up like this, I'd be like, bro, I want any sibling to take me out of this situation. My god, where have you been raised to think this way? Oh my god. No! We thought George Aniki's point was probably a reasonable one, and we may have been eager to use that reasonable-sounding argument as a justification to retreat from his heart-rending scene. Jessica and I nodded at George Aniki, and we all left. No! No! We called towards Maria, telling her that we were going to head to the guest house, but she didn't seem to hear. Of course not! She's getting beaten up! And we felt sort of guilty and shameless after saying it.
それなら好きなだけ一人で探しなさい。ママは知りません。探す。マリアが一人で探す。ママが知らなくても探す。勝手にしなさい。
After blasting her with those last few words, Rosa spun on her heels and quickly returned to the mansion. Alright, it's time for me to burst into the Umineko world, grab Maria, get the custody papers, and adopt her myself. Jesus Christ. I am forcing Rosa to disown her. She's my child now. Maria probably viewed that as a cold gesture meant to injure, but that wasn't Rosa's intention. Fuck off, Rosa! It was because the hand with which she had so emotionally struck Maria's cheek was still numb. It was because if she stayed there screaming, she might again be taken over by her emotion and continue slapping her daughter's cheek over and over. At least you have some sense. After Rosa left, Maria was left alone in the rose garden. The wind began to blow stronger and stronger, and every once in a while a raindrop would fall on her forehead. However, Maria couldn't leave that place. Not until she found that poor wilting rose. It had definitely been there. Even so, it wasn't. Even though she knew the place and even though it had been there, it wasn't. Maria bitterly stared at the place it was supposed to be and thought frantically, maybe the angle I'm looking for is wrong, from is wrong. Maybe the height I'm looking from is wrong. While gazing at a single point, Maria repeatedly stood up, changed her position and continued to stare. The wind was getting stronger and stronger, but Maria kept on looking for that rose in front of the flower bed. What if the roses were just like a little bit to the left? Kinzo noticed the sound of the raindrops beating on the window. It seemed to be pouring down thickly. It had begun to rain later than the weather report had predicted. Kinzo approached the window as if being summoned by the sound of the rain. The sound of rain is a sound of silence. That sound feels quieter than any silence, and makes humans remember that in the end they are alone from the moment they're born to the moment they die. Oh? Oh? Were those words directed at the rainy sky? There was no one to be seen in the direction of Kinzo's gaze. Oh, he's up in the chandelier! Oh my god! Look at him! Do you think he just hanged his coat there and now he's like floating and it's like, I feel a little bit closer to Beatrice now. Yes, right there at the chandelier, have fun. Yes, take Rosa first. Don't take the grandkids. So help me God if you lay a hand on Shannon. I'm sure he wants to be Beatrice's sacrifice, like the ultimate simp he is. I like how the rain sound effect is still like sounding in the background. Kinzo based, yes, he is floating right now. On the channel. Dude, this is getting me so bad. It's just too funny to me, just imagining him like right up there with this pose. Kinzo tore the window open, ripped the golden ring off his finger and forcefully threw it away. Your wedding ring, or? At that time the sound of thunder rang out, giving the illusion that the lightning had upset the ring. Plot twist, Kinzo dies first. Ooh, is it beginning? Ooh, is this it? Are we gonna begin the tomato parts? whenever Kinzo speaks again, I'm gonna give the command to the chat to just scream Beatrice with me. Oh, he came down from the chandelier. And is that a metaphor that he died? And it's 6 p.m. Oh. What did you want to say, Kinzo? Okay. That was just a glitch, apparently. A new ticker popped up on top of the TV program we were watching. The disaster report told how municipalities all over were continually sending out rain, flood, and wave warnings. Of course, the raindrops beating harshly on the window were even more convincing. This rain's incredible. Is it?
そりゃ雨ぜ。台風の速度が遅いそうだから、下手すりゃ明日も丸一日こんな調子らしいぜ。ちょっとの天気でも船は欠航するもんだしよ。
There's only one last thing I remember from those 4 episodes, and I know what it is. I hope I get to that part.
日曜日のうちには引き上げられないか。念のため月曜日に外部とのスケジュールを入れなくて正解だったよ。
ってことは月曜の学校はサボれそうだな。島生活ってのも悪くないもんだぜ。そういや、ジェシカは登校って毎日船で通ってるわけだろ。船が欠航したら学校はどうなるんだ？カメハメハ大王並みに雨が降ったらお休みで。
King Kamehameha? Is that a new move? Is that gonna be like Goku's new move? King Kamehameha?
もっともそう甘くはねえけどな。大抵その代わりに自習が指示されて、後でかっちりと見られるから、そうそう気楽でもねえさ。
例えば、梅雨なんかの長く天気が崩れる時期だと、
Staying hydrated for the next parts.
そういうこともあるぜ。でも毎日きっちり担任から電話がかかってきて、どう自習しろ、何を提出しろとすっぱく指導されるけどな。
バトラ君が考えてるほど。
And George is floating over the bed. She can skip school.
船で通う人たちのルールに従ってしっかり勉強をしているよ。
And Jessica's floating with him now. Can you just imagine the character sprites, just like 3D objects who start tilting here and there and floating around the room just like that while they casually still talk?
それでいて問題集ばっかり数日もやらされてるとかなり精神的に応えるもんがあるぜ。大学の時にはよ、寮のあるところに入ってさっさとこんな不便な島はおさらばしたいもんだぜ。
へえ。じゃあよ、ちなみに行きは天気が良くても帰りは悪くて欠航ってなったらどうすんだ？学校に泊まるのか？
そういうのはよくあることだぜ。だから帰島できない人用の宿泊所があってよ、そこに寝泊まりするんだよ。下手すりゃ数日間家に帰れないこともあったりするぜ。
乗車率が 200% を超えるような満員電車で船の通学なんて趣があって良さそうだな。
There's not much I can say here because I can't empathize.
やっぱりいろいろと苦労があるんだね。
よく無神経な観光客がそういうこと言ってるぜ。私は島の生活なんてもうお腹いっぱいだね。
Especially after your dad is trying to build a resort there? Yes, understandable.
こんな島とはおさらばしたいぜ。
Jessica just wants to leave. Let her go.
高校にだって全寮制のところとかあったろうよ。なんでわざわざ新島の学校を選んだんだよ。
私は最初からそれを希望してたぜ。でもおふくろがよ、当主後継ぎとしての修行やらマナーやらがうんぬんってうるさくてよ。結局高校も地元になっちまったのさ。
Damn.
こんな島はごめんだぜ。早く都会で生活したいよ。
Free yourself, Jessica.
やりが降ろうが、 ラフな格好でサンダルを履けば
And sandals.
5分足らずでコンビニに行けるような都会に引っ越したいぜ
Yes, that sounds good.
もう少しの辛抱だよ。高校卒業まであとちょっとでしょ。
そのちょっとも我慢
King Kamehameha, King of Hawaii. Oh, okay. Jessica stretched out and reclined in the sofa. Maybe it was a bad time slot, because there weren't any interesting programs on, and we had nothing to do but languidly kill time until we were called for dinner. How about you guys watch Chargeman Ken? It's an 80s anime. It's good. It's interesting. It has dynamite in the brain. After that episode, Maria never returned to the cousin's room after all. Aunt Rosa probably took her back to the mansion. It had to be pretty boring for Maria all by herself while the adults had a confusing conversation. Free her, please. We thought we might as well head over to the mansion to see her, but the weather really was awful. And since there wasn't much time until dinner, we stayed where we were. At that time, we heard the sound of a humble knock. Jessica answered. Oh, it's him. Dinner time. I mean, I'm pretty sure he has an umbrella. It was Kanukun's voice. Did he go to all trouble of coming from the mansion in this rain just to get us? Could he have just called us on the telephone? Well, I guess servants at work don't always get to take the most efficient route. Battler, he's just being polite. He's being formal and a little bit edgy. Maybe he just wanted to walk in the rain. Just when I was getting hungry. Yes, let's go. Josh Aniki turned off the television and stood up. Cow steak sounds good.
親族会議の日は特に豪華になるしな。私だって楽しみだぜ。
Ooh. Oh god, that sounds good. I'm starting to get hungry again. No! And as we left the room, Kanan-kun bowed silently and respectfully.
じゃあ行こうぜ。外の振りはだいぶひどいだろう。はい。お召し物を濡らさぬよう十分ご注意ください。
Did you bring umbrellas? After seeing the three of us out, Kanan-kun peered into the empty room.
マリア様はいらっしゃいませんか？一緒じゃないぜ。ローザおばさんと一緒じゃないのかよ。
I hope she's not the first victim. Maria! Come home, please. Rosa was lying on a sofa in the empty parlor, having fallen asleep before she knew it. Maybe stay asleep forever. She was bearing a burden that the children couldn't even imagine. What burden? That's why she only needed to let her guard down a little before the weariness immediately dragged her into a world of sleep. Realizing this, Kenji brought a blanket over to her. When he tried to spread it over her, her eyes snapped open as though she'd been shocked with electricity. When she realized that the thing that touched her was just a blanket, and that Kenji had been considerably giving it to her, she let out a sigh of relief. It could have been my knife, Rosa. When he was asked for the time, Genji checked a pocket watch that he took out of his chest pocket. How long has it been since Maria was left in the garden? Rosa gave her head a little shake when she realized that not much time had actually passed. Okay, even though it felt like she'd slept for ages. Even though she didn't feel rested at all, the drowsiness that had enveloped her must have been pretty deep.
変な時間に眠っちゃダメね。すっかり時間の感覚が狂っちゃったわ。雨、とうとう降り出したのね。
Rosa finally realized that the peaceful sound that had put her to sleep was actually the rain.
帰 風もだいぶ出てるよね。いよいよ台風なのかしら。
そのようにテレビでは申しております。遅い台風だそうで。明日
そう。この素敵なバラ庭園も日中のあれが見納めだったのね。
From the window, what she could see of the rose garden was completely burned by the wind and the rain.
そうだ。マリアは？
What? You left her there?
私はお見かけしておりませんが、ゲストハウスにお戻りではないでしょうか。
God damn it. Rosa knew her daughter's nature well, so a chill ran down her spine. Maria was stubbornly honest, and if she was ordered to find something that didn't exist, she would look forever and ever. Even in pouring rain. Oh my god. I mean, you sent them away, basically, with your explosive rage. Yeah, how could you? You're shit. Even though she'd known about Maria's simple honesty better than anyone, she'd once again lost control of her emotion and done something terrible. Yes, you are terrible. You are horrible. Oh god, and now you're acting like a lovable mother. You have the audacity. Rosa pushed Genji away and ran down the hall. The outside really looked like a typhoon, and the rain was pouring down spectacularly. Maybe because of some aspect of the terrain, the winds weren't typhoon class, so an umbrella wouldn't be torn out of one's hands. Even so, it certainly was a windy rain. There was no time to admire the roses being drenched. I think so.
そうだね。さすがにこの雨じゃと思いたいところだけど、マリアちゃんはたまにすごく頑固でものすごく愚直な時がある。
Maria, no! We hadn't worried much, thinking that Aunt Rosa had taken her back to the mansion. I don't think she would. However, when Kanon-kun had come from the mansion to call us and thought Maria was here, we got a little worried.
お屋敷ではお見かけしませんでしたので、てっきりこちらにおられるとばかり。ローザ様は仮眠を取られておいででしたので。
ここに来る途中に見かけなかったのかよ。
申し訳ございません。傘を差し、急ぎ駆け抜けたもので、そこまでの注意を払いませんでした。
He just went through the rain. If he had cut through the rose garden, taking the shortest line between the mansion and the guest house, then he would have just barely missed the place where Maria had been looking for a rose. And it was raining this hard too. It certainly would have been possible for Kanon-kun to fail to notice her. Yes, please find her. They're gonna run. They're gonna go fast. It's time to Sonic! Whee! George, Aniki, and I flew out into the rain. Jessica and Kanon-kun followed us. Okay, imagine if they just like jumped and went like through the sky. Like fucking actually flying. I know it's just a metaphor, but just the image in my mind. When George Aniki called back, Aunt Rosa jumped at him and grabbed onto him. You have the gall to act this way.
Yeah,
6 years ago, Maria was 3 years old. She was cute and a pure kid who's just accept whatever anyone said. But 6 years have passed since then. She's 9 now and experiencing the ups and downs of life should have taught her something. I don't know. But Maria, are you telling me you're still as innocent and pure as you used to be? Possibly. Maria! As I circled the rose bed, something with unexpectedly turned to face me. White, sorry. It was a white umbrella. Maria was crouching down, holding a white umbrella and still searching for that rose. She never gave up. She never gave up on the flower! Her face, which had turned bright red from her crying her eyes out, was dirtied with water and mud. Oh no! It was truly a pitiful sight. Maria is so precious! I agree! I adore her! Maybe Beatrice took it. Maria had probably been here since the rain started pouring down. Her shoulders were freezing. Oh no. She looked tired to the bone, but fortunately, since she was holding an umbrella, she wasn't completely soaked. The umbrella probably came from the handbag Maria always carried around because she's a smart girl. Thank goodness. Seriously, thank goodness. Go away! I don't buy it. Aunt Rosa threw her umbrella aside and hugged Maria. Sorry! My cat was looking into my food and wouldn't stop. Crap. Okay. Where was I? Sorry. Go back, please go back! No! My cat came over and wouldn't let me read! Okay, it looked Maria still wasn't able to accept it, but she no longer had enough energy left to resist. Jessica and Kanun-kun caught up with us. God, sorry, I'm skipping a lot of text this time. On accident. I promise it's an accident. I just get absorbed so into the reading that I forget to read. Yes, you are a bad mother. You are a horrible mother. Worst mom of the decade. I had to think for a second. I wanted to say of the year, but that's not enough. I have to think how much I will degrade her. Yes, exactly. Because she's horrible. I hate her. We couldn't stay in the rain forever. We took Maria with us as we headed back to the mansion. Maria apparently wasn't as worn out as I thought. When she remembered we were having calf steak for dinner, she started chanting, "I'm hungry, I'm hungry, ooh, ooh!" and returned to her usual spirited self. I wonder if I can do a higher pitched voice for a Maria voice. Let me hydrate. Okay. My attempt at a Maria high pitched voice. I'm hungry, ooh, ooh! That was a little bit, that wasn't as high as I expected I could go. Aunt Rosa didn't chide Maria for saying, ooh, woo! Did Beatrice give it to you? She's gonna say Beatrice gave it. Some caring person must have brought her umbrella. Who? A normal kid would look for shelter once it started raining, but Maria was too stubborn to give up so easily. So maybe that caring person gave up on telling Maria to find shelter, then decided to at least give her an umbrella. I didn't mean to hiccup like that. I'm sorry. Oh! The name Maria cheerfully mentioned was that of the island's witch. Rosa took a deep breath and asked again, trying to do so in a way that wouldn't damage Maria's good mood. Just, oh, come on.
そう。よかったわね。それで誰なの？傘を持ってきてくれた人は。おお、ベアといいチェ。
She's like, Mom, you dumb, you dummy. Maria immediately realized that her mother didn't believe her and started crying out unhappily again. God damn it, Rosa! God damn it! So Rosa stopped pursuing the subject. It'd probably be faster to ask whoever lent Maria the umbrella during dinner rather than ask Maria herself. Guess she never learns. Alright. Is it time? Along with the dull pounding on the door, the sound of Krause's entreaty could be heard. However, that voice seemed to be resigned to the fact that nothing it said would be heard.
Kinzo-san, せめて夕食くらいは出んかね。あんたの顔を見ようと、息子さんたちが集まってきた。
Kinzo's gonna be like, no! Fuck him, kids! I'm not gonna show my face. Oh my god! He's playing chess! He's like, no, let's continue playing 4D chess. Apparently, Kinzo was completely focused on the final battle of his long-lasting chess match with Nacho. Krause is like, Dad, come have dinner. I can't pause, I'm playing chess. Like the total reverse of the stereotypical mom coming into her child's room and being like, son or daughter or child, dinner is ready, come. But mom, I can't pause the game, it's online. It's the same but with chess. Kinzo's brow was wrinkled as he continued to glare at the game board through his spectacles. Krause's voice didn't reach his ears.
Kinzo-san, 私も腹が減った。下に降りて食事をせんか。ならばお前だけで行くといい。
I'm still not over his tie. Yes, understandable. His tie is something. Look at the way Kinzo is looking like, alright, just rage quit out of this match. Coward. Nanjo rose from his seat, hoping this would prompt Kinzo to do the same, but Kinzo's eyes never left the chessboard. He knew well that Kinzo always displayed the blind concentration when it came to chess. He and Maria sound a little bit the same in tunnel vision focusing. But Maria's actually precious. Kinzo is something. He is beyond my vocabulary. It was almost as though Kinzo was telling the truth, and there would never be another chance for them to continue their contest if they didn't finish tonight. It seemed that no matter how obstinately he called out to Kinzo, it wouldn't reach the latter's heart. Nanjo gave up and headed to the door that Krause was still banging on. The door to the study opened. Krause was taken aback, thinking that maybe Kinzo was actually coming out. However, Nanjo was the one who appeared, and Krause let out a sigh of relief.
Nanjo-sensei, oyaji dono wa...
Sorry, Klaus. He doesn't want to leave the game. It's online. He can't just Alt F4 out of chess. Nanjo shook his head with a complete defeated expression. Okay, excuse me, but where does Kinzo go to the toilet? Does he have a toilet in the study? Nanjo shook his head with a completely defeated expression. Krause raised his fist once more and banged on the door, shouting.
聞こえますか? 私たちは下へ降りますが、気が向かれたらいつでもおいでください。
He 100% does. Oh god, I can't imagine.
ずっとお待ちしておりますよ。
And he was making a racket pounding on the door. His voice was very loud and he was making a racket pounding on the door. There was no way it wouldn't reach Kinzo's ear. Well, it certainly was reaching him, but he ignored it anyway. What? Wow. However, unlike the time he'd been called down for lunch, he didn't fly into a rage. By now, Kinzo was calm at heart, almost as though he had taken on a philosophical view and turned himself over to fate.
晩餐にも息子たちの顔にも興味はない。私がここを出るのはベアトリーチがよみがえる時か私が鍵の生贄に選ばれた時だけだ。もう悪魔のルーレットは回っている。今さら晩餐に何の意味があろう。
My dinner will be the sight of Beatrice. As though the painfully loud banging on the door completely failed to enter his hearing, Kinzo silently thought about his next chess move, still in his philosophical state. Just as always, Kinzo's figure couldn't be seen anywhere in the dining hall. Kraus, wearing a bitter smile, returned with Nanjo.
親父殿は相変わらずご気分が優れられないそうだ。
Liar! He's playing chess!
年に一度の親族が集まるこの機会に同席できないことを非常に残念がられておられた。
Kraus, just be honest. Just say he doesn't want to stop playing chess. Eva and Rudolph sniggered. Snickered. Given Kinzo's personality, there was no way he'd show signs of regret. And none of his relatives showed any regret at his absence.
ではディナーを始めようじゃないか。ゴーダ、始めたまえ。
かしこまりました。
Yes, Mr. Butchin, give us our steak.
それでは始めさせていただきます。
When Goda was told to start the family conference dinner, his biggest time to shine of the whole year, he nodded a broad grin.
マリアに傘を貸してくれた人は誰かしら?
Oh my god, who cares? Rosa, you should be grateful. There's no way someone can just pop up to the island and be like, hey, 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 hey. When Rosa timidly cut through the silence of the dining hall, everyone noticed.
傘? 何の話? さっきマリアがバラ庭園にいた時に雨が降り出して誰かに白い傘を借りたみたいなんだけどお礼が言いたくて。
俺たちじゃねえぜ。ローザが出てった後は部屋を移してずっと。
A friendly chat? So you mean more mind chess?
そうやで。
Yeah, from Hideyoshi's expression, I take it I was right.
あの後も兄弟で仲良くおしゃべりをしとったのや。
The way he's looking, the word friendly felt awkward from Hideyoshi's lip. It's like he was they wouldn't stop yelling at each other. Like, my wife said some weird shit. So even those who hadn't been present could tell the conversation hadn't been a pleasant one.
少なくとも私とエヴァとルドルフとあと秀吉さんとキリエさんではないことも確かだが。
Maybe it was one of the servants.
私たちは夏日姉さんとローザさんが出て行った後もずっと一緒だったわ。
Eva is interesting. She in the last episode, damn, she went in. We were together the whole time, even after Natsuhi-san and Rosa-san left. After the absolute verbal beatdown she got from Eva, I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't come back for this dinner.
食事の時間までずっとね。兄さんは源氏さんと一緒にお父様を呼びに上の書斎へ。私たちはそのまま食堂へ直行したもの。だから私たちではないわね。傘を貸すなんて親切、使用人の誰かじゃないの？
Probably.
じゃあ、ゴーダさん？
私はずっと厨房で準備をしておりましたもので。
Mr. Butchins here has been preparing the world's best steak on the planet.
申し訳ございません。
Goda looked slightly disappointed about missing this chance to show off. At that time, Shannon and Kumasawa appeared, pushing a serving cart loaded with hors d'oeuvres. Oh god, hors d'oeuvres? Oh god, my big apologies to everybody who speaks French.
じゃあ、熊沢さんかシャノンちゃんかしら。はい。
What?
何か粗相がございましたでしょうか。
Because Shannon had come in part way, she shrank back, mistakenly thinking that the others were searching for the one responsible for some error.
違うよ。マリアちゃんがバラ庭園に一人でいた時に雨が降ってきてね。誰かが傘を貸してくれたんだよ。ローザおばさんがその人にお礼を言いたいって言うのさ。
ああ、ベアトリーチェ。
Maria, her mouth a thin line, said the witch's name in a small voice. Oh no, 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 no. Aunt Rosa explained the situation one more time, and she did. Kumasawa-san cackled. I love Kumasawa so much.
私たちでもございませんよ。私もシャノンさんも一緒にお部屋の準備をしておりましたから、お外には出ておりません。
はい、気が利かなくてすみません。
部屋の準備とは何のことかね。
この雨ですから。
Oh, she is back after all.
客人の皆さんがゲストハウスにお帰りになられるのも大変かと思って、使用人たちに屋敷内の客室の準備をするように命じたのです。
Huh.
あら、気が利くじゃない。そうね。この雨の中、表に追い出すのは失礼だものね。
I just see Eva is like just dying to claw into Natsuhi's skin some more.
もう予算か。
Even Hideo, she's tired. He's like, can you just stop it with the roast today? I just want to have my steak.
はい。奥様からそのようにご指示を受けまして、私と熊沢さんとカノン君の3人で準備をしておりました。そして、
Eva just spaced as heck. Yes.
源氏様からゲストハウスのお子様方をお呼びす
I
るようご
agree.
指示をいただいたため、
ええ。ですから、カノンさんがゲストハウスに行かれるときに、マリアさんを見つけて、傘をお渡ししたのではありませんか？
But he didn't see her.
ほー、
Uh-oh.
違う。
The person that actually received the umbrella denied it. Rosa was troubled. All she wanted to do was give a word of thanks to the person who had lent the umbrella, but she couldn't find them. Just drop the subject. And she thought asking like this with everyone gathered for dinner would work immediately. You're not smart.
じゃあ、夏日姉さん？
No, she was busy crying her eyes out after Eva just destroyed her.
ごめんなさい。私は皆さんとの仲良くの語らいの後、頭痛がひどかったので、自分の部屋で休んでいました。
Rosa, you were there when it happened. Come on.
表へは出ていません。
なら、誰なの？ジョージ君たち？
It was Kinzo.
わけないわよね。
いえ、僕たちじゃありません。僕たちはずっとゲストハウスでテレビを見てました。
むしろ私たちは、マリアはおばさんと一緒に屋敷に行ったとばかり。
そこへカノン君が来て、マリアは一緒じゃないのかと聞いたんで、初めて屋敷にはいないのかって分かったんだよ。第一俺だったら傘を貸すより先に手引っ張って屋根の下に連れて行くぜ。
Sounds like a better thing to do. Rosa was completely baffled. I mean, one by one the relatives and the servants denied that they had done it. Even though it wasn't something anyone would need to hide. So by process of elimination, the number of remaining candidates was large.
もちろん私でもありませんが、雨が降り始めてすぐの頃、金蔵さんの部屋を訪ねて、ついさっきまで一緒にチェスをしておりました。
Oh boy, we were playing chess the entire time.
ということは、おじい様でもないよね。
なんだ妙な話になってきたぜ。
Well, she's really asking everyone. Oh my
あと
god.
残るのは誰だ？
She doesn't want it to be Beatrice so bad.
じゃあ、誰？源氏さん？ちょっと待って。勘違いしないでくれる？別に、私は何かの犯人探しをしてるんじゃないのよ。
You sound like it
雨の
though.
中のマリアに傘を差し伸べてくれた人に、母としてお礼が言いたいだけなの。
Giving an umbrella to a girl loitering in the rain was something to be praised, not hidden. Despite that, no one raised their hand. Why not? Everyone started whispering about how strange this was getting. She's just freaking out about the umbrella. That's what everyone had been thinking since the beginning. They were all scratching their heads at why she didn't just ask Maria, who had been given the umbrella. However, Rosa bit her lower lip. After all, she already knew how Maria would answer if asked. Uh-oh. Imagine if Kinzo hears Maria then answering, "It was Beatrice," and then he comes breaking into the room like, "You saw Beatrice? You saw Beatrice? Tell me, girl!" The dining hall was wrapped in silence for an instant, but it was soon interrupted by a burst of laughter. Oh no. I can imagine Kinzo shaking Maria really heavy. Yeah, basically just bursts into the kitchen and was like, "Please tell me where you saw her! Give me the umbrella, I'm gonna see her! Where the hell is she?" Rosa couldn't believe it. Even though she just wanted to say thanks for the umbrella, why did everything have to be so clouded in smoke? Maybe it's just not that deep. Oh no, I'm more worried that Rosa will take this to let out her anger on Maria later. I don't like this idea. Kraus was laughing with a face that was clearly mocking, but Maria was overjoyed, apparently convinced that her claim was being believed. Well, that happened after Kinzo threw the ring, so who knows? Jessica asked me in a small voice that wouldn't carry over to Maria, who was sitting across from me. Nah. I've heard that kind of story pop out of my old bastard's mouth. We would have just taken it as another joke. However, it was hard to explain it away like that when Maria said it. This was getting pretty unnerving. Aunt Rosa probably knew that better than anyone. It appeared that because of this weird situation, she had no idea what was going on anymore. Maybe yes. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it was someone in a costume, like, you know, to establish some sort of alibi or something. Jessica shrugged jokingly, but her expression didn't completely match her attitude. Once the hors d'oeuvres were set out and Gorda showed off his vast store of knowledge, the meal began. A couple casual chats broke out here and there, but they seemed somehow distant, and the meal ended up being so quiet that she couldn't ignore the sound of the rain sneaking into the dining hall. Kumasawa and Shannon, pushing the serving cart, ran into Genji and Kanan on their way to the kitchen. There is the best lady. What the hell are you talking about? Even the servants are like, okay, who did it? It was me.
ゲストハウスにいると思ってたくらいだからね。バトラ様が最初に見つけられた時にはもう白い傘をお持ちだった。
申し訳ないが、それは私でもない。
Both in the dining hall and right here, everyone had stated that they hadn't done it. Kinzo just flying out of the room like, Beatrice! That left only Kinzo, but...
何かのご用で廊下を歩かれているとき、偶然バラ庭園に傘もささないマリア様が見えたとか。
Kinzo being nice? Huh.
親方様はマリア様のことをあまりお好きではない。
Come on, but you share an interest. You both like Beatrice.
親方様がマリア様のために直々に開花までお越しになって傘を持ちくださるとは考えられないよ。
Very likely.
困りましたわね。では、マリア様に傘をお貸しになられたのは本当にベアトリーチェ様ってことに？
Probably. I like how Kumasawa is enjoying herself, like, damn, that's nice. Kumasawa laughed, just like the relative of the dining hall who had laughed it off. She couldn't think of any other way to break through the smoke, viewing the current situation. Just then the crisp of hands, clapping twice, rang through the hallway. They turned around at once to see Goda coming out of the dining hall.
さあさあ皆さん、ディナーは配膳のタイミングも大事です。すぐにスープの配膳に取り掛かってください。源氏さん、彼女らは大切なお仕事中ですので、お引き止めになられないでください。
Kanon, was it you? Kanon guided Goda for being rude to Genji, a person Kanon respected. Genji showing up right in the shot like, alright, you wanna say that to my face? Genji realizing this patted Kanon once on the shoulder as a warning. He's like, don't worry Kanon, I'll snap his neck later. And break his butt chin. With the power of my furniture shoulders, I can do that. Genji realizing this patted Kanon once on the shoulder as a warning. Okay, Kanon reluctantly turned away and returned his expression to normal.
ゴーダの指示に従いなさい。今は晩餐の配膳を急ぐよう。
ほらほら、時間がありません。タラタラしない。急ぎますよ。
Goda grabbed the serving cart from Shannon and steadily pushed it towards the kitchen.
では、私どもも厨房に戻らせていただきます。
Yes.
ゴーダさんも気の短い方ですからね。
I wonder if Kumasawa likes to tease the other servants.
私もこれで失礼いたします。
Kumasawa and Shannon left. Only Genji and Kanon remained. Through the window, the darkness of the rainy night could be seen, along with the occasional thunderbolt.
源氏様、ベアトリーチェ様が本当にお戻りになられたのでしょうか？
Who knows? He's like, I don't know, I don't care.
親方様にお知らせしますか？
Breaking it, they're gonna like run into his room like, Beatrice has been seen!
せずともよい。
That is not necessary.
本当にお戻りになられたなら、やがておのずと親方様の前へ現れよう。それに、あれは気まぐれなお方。
Okay.
親方様にご報告申し上げたところで、お姿を現されないことには。
Yeah, if that happened, I think he will spend the entire night crying and screaming about Beatrice, so maybe let's not.
親方様の儀式はすでに始まっているということでしょうか？
Probably.
おそらく。だがそれは我ら家具には何の関わりもないこと。
If Genji was a real life furniture, I wonder if he would be like a shelf or like a cupboard or a closet with them shoulders like that.
最後の瞬間までお返しするのみ。
はい、それが僕たち家具の務めです。
My God. The thunder crashed once more. Except for those instants when lightning lit up the sky, nothing could be seen out of the window but the darkness of the night. Just as humans rule when the sun is up, those that are not human rule when the sun is down. The darkness of the night that now surrounded Rokkenjima was ruled by another master, not to a Shiromiya family. Did this master take pity on Maria when she was alone and being pummeled by the rain in the rose garden, lending her an umbrella. Kanon looked at the rose garden's lights, dimly visible beyond the window. The dim lights weren't enough to illuminate the surrounding area. Looking at those lights felt like making eye contact with the witch, and Kanon forced himself to avert his gaze. If he didn't, it felt like his eyes would be absorbed by that light. Can the weather change how people act? Poignant. You often hear stories about how things like atmospheric pressure can influence people's moods and physical health. I can at least confirm the physical health part. My body takes weather changes very badly, and I can get colds like instantly. For some times now, everyone had been struggling to clear the gloomy atmosphere, but any conversation was quickly cut off, and in the end, the dining hall was simply filled with the sound of the rain. Dessert was some kind of chocolate cake accompanied by pear sherbet. Goda-san enthusiastically explained the recipe as soon as this final dish was presented, but I quickly forgot the details. The guest of honor grandfather was absent, and the weather was horrible, and the identity of the one who lent Maria an umbrella remained a mystery. It's Beatrice. When dinner ended, no one felt even one bit refreshed. It was too late now, but I realized painfully that taste wasn't the only important part of a meal, the whole atmosphere was also critical. Gora-san, the supposed conductor of this musical piece called Dinner, did his best to enliven the place, dropping little jokes left and right, but apparently not one of them succeeded. I want to know what kind of jokes he was telling. Like, did he tell bad puns? Like, you know, oh crap. Things like, oh god. What was the joke again? Right, the pun went something like, why couldn't the bicycle stand? Because it was too tired. I wonder if he was telling jokes like that in that tier. After taking orders for after-dinner coffee, tea, and orange juice, he left for the kitchen. As soon as he disappeared, Uncle Kraus spoke. My.
こうも沈み込んでしまっては実に味気ないというものだ。
まったくね。今日は何を食べても美味しく感じられない、そういう気分よ。
ほう。どうしてそういう気分なのか聞きたいね。心が晴れ晴れできるよう、兄として後で協力させてもらうよ。
By what? Eva grimaced slightly. I'd already heard she wasn't on good terms with Uncle Kraus, but it was pretty clear now. When I looked around, I noticed that my father and Aunt Rosa were also grimacing. Apparently there was something besides the weather troubling all of them.
Eva おばさんも、うちの親父も、ずいぶん機嫌が悪そうっすね。
そう。
Gotta keep my throat rehydrated for that reading. I asked Aunt Natsuhi, who was sitting on my right, but she seemed to be in a bad mood as well. She's like, yeah, you think? I got roasted and called a borrowed womb. How do you think that feels? She snapped back as if to say she was absolutely not interested. I can imagine. A little complicated? That was some galaxy brain mind chess going on there. It's about money. Kids don't care about money. Uncle Hideyoshi laughed as he spoke, but without his usual brightness, so I could vaguely imagine just how complicated their adult conversation had become. On top of that, even Aunt Natsuhi and Kirie-san, the people he had directed his comment to, ignored him as though they hadn't heard anything. I didn't know what kind of conversation they've been having while us kids were away, but reminded me of how Dad said he had stomach cramps when you arrived at the mansion. The family conference might have been a playful reunion to us kids, but it was definitely different for the adults. After Uncle Hideyoshi's comment was ignored by the other adults, an awkward silence fell over the room. Kirie-san spoke up.
子供たちの進路はどうなるのかしらとか、そういう話よ。バトラ君は将来はどうするの？ぼんやりと大学進学？そんなのじゃ長い人生レースのスタートラインとしては心細いわよ。
Kirie the tension breaker. She is good.
そうやそうや。バトラ君やジェシカちゃんの進路の話をしとったんや。将来のことは真剣に考えんとあかんで。
Hideyoshi heartily agreed as if they really would have been talking about that, but that was probably wrong. Kirie-san had been obviously trying to change the subject. However, if Kirie-san had determined what this was the best course of action for now, then she was probably right. Taking this into account, I cast aside my suspicions as to the cause behind Aunt Eva and Dad's bad moods. It's money. Although long last, the serving cart returned, filled with coffee and tea. Masawa-san and Shannon-chan served it to everyone. Goda-san then explained that this concluded tonight's meal. If only the mood had been a bit more cheery, it might have been the best dinner in my life. It's a shame this best of dinners couldn't have been had under the best conditions. I want to go out and see Beatrice again.
これでおしまいだよ。
はしてないわよ。お席について落ち着いてジュースを飲みなさい。
Maria looked like she was really excited by the occasional crashing thunder. Maybe she wanted to quickly finish eating and run over to the window. She had been fidgeting for a while, waiting for the meal to end. Some people are afraid of thunder while others find it interesting, and Maria was apparently one of the latter sort. Therefore, when she heard from George Aniki that dinner was over, a huge smile broke across her face. She then rose from her seat, took out her handbag, which she'd set under her seat, never having left it even while she was eating, and began fishing around inside of it. Oh, yeah, thunder is awesome, I agree. I like thunder. My cat doesn't though. No one seemed particularly concerned by this behavior.
なんだい？それはどこから持ってきたの？
George was the first to notice it. As he spoke, Battler noticed too. Like a notebook. Oh! Okay. They saw that Maria was now holding a beautiful Western-style envelope. On the front of the envelope, the Yoshinomiya family crest, the one-winged eagle, was done in gold leaf. Furthermore, the fact that it was sealed with dark red wax made it clear that this wasn't something Maria could have brought as a prank. In before Smash invite, or a King of Fighters invite. Mario for Smash or Mario for Cough. It seemed that Natsuhi had also noticed the strangeness of the envelope Maria was holding. Her voice sounded too serious for someone admonishing a small child, so the relatives around us finally noticed too.
どうしたよ、Natsuhi姉さん。
それ、何？
マリア、あなた、それをどこで拾ったの？
She's gonna say Beatrice gave it to me.
その封筒は金蔵さんの？
Will? When Nanjo muttered that, even us kids couldn't understand why everyone seemed to be frozen solid. That envelope that Maria held was one of the Ushiromiya family had customs-made envelope for private use. In other words, it could only mean one thing. This envelope contained a message from Kinzo.
どうしてそんな封筒がここにあるんだね。
こいつは面白いもんが飛び出してくるぜ。
ちょいと足に見せてみ。
He's gonna be like, I'm gone, kids. I'm looking for Beatrice. We are over at our vacation resort. You can meet us later in the afterlife. Ho ho ho. Oh, okay. Uncle Hideyoshi tried to snatch the envelope out from Maria's hands, but she protected it as though hugging it and didn't let go.
秀吉兄さん、子供相手に力ずくなんていけませんよ。
Correct. Please tell it to Rosa too.
マリアちゃん、その封筒はどうしたの？
Beatrice?
傘を貸してくれた時にベアトリーチェにもらった。ご飯が終わったらマリアがみんなに読んで聞かせろって言われた。
Oh, so maybe it really was Kinzo who gave the umbrella.
マリアは魔女のメッセンジャーなの。
Oh.
メッセンジャー？
Like MSN Messenger, like doing that old sound, like. Battler tried to joke about it, but no one laughed.
それで中にはなんて書いてあるのかしら、マリアちゃん。
Maria casually opened the envelope. It was sealed only with wax, so she just had to remove the sealing wax to open it. The sealing wax fell onto the desk. Hideyoshi hastily picked it up and stared fixedly at it. He's like, this wax. It's just sublime. He then set it in the center of the table, where Natsuhi, Kiri, and Nanjo stared at it. Imprinted in the sealing wax was the one-winged eagle, which was the Ushiromiya family crest and also Kinzo's personal crest.
当主様の紋章？私は金蔵さんに手紙をもらったことがあるからわかる。これは間違いなく金蔵さんの風浪だ。
Uh-oh. I'm interested.
でも、このお屋敷にはそれと同じ紋章がいくつもあるのでは？
I think Kinzo's might have something special.
金蔵さんでなくても風浪はできるのでは？
いや、金蔵さんは風浪には必ず自分が指にしている後ろ宮家当主の証の指輪で刻印をする。
Alright.
この形や複雑な意匠は間違いなく金蔵さんの風浪だ。
そうとは限らんよ。その風浪をもとに偽の紋章を作り、親父殿を語って刻印した可能性が否めない。
I mean, it might be possible, but I think it was Kinzo.
兄貴に同感だ。風浪に刻印されている紋章がどれだけ親父のものに酷似していたとしても、だからその封筒が親父のものであるという証拠にはならない。
私も全く同じよ。風浪の刻印だけでお父様の手紙だなんて決めつけることには同意できないわ。
Maybe on the way it's written?
南條先生、曖昧な言葉は慎んでいただけるかしら。
これは失礼。出過ぎた口でしたな。
One after another, all of the siblings from Kraus on downwards rejected Nanjo's statement, saying that the envelope Maria held wasn't necessarily from Kinzo. They were afraid. They feared from the bottom of their hearts that Kinzo's intentions were written in there, and that might be some announcement regarding the inheritance that would be decidedly unfavorable to them.
Maria.
Burn the letter.
その封筒は傘を貸してくれた人がくれたのね。じゃわからないでしょ。そうなの？
つまり魔女ベアトリーチェが傘と一緒にマリアちゃんにその封筒を。
Maybe it was just Kinzo in a dress. He's the only one without an alibi. Oh wait, never mind. He was playing chess with Nanjo.
得体の知れない何者かが手渡した怪文書です。読むにも値しません。
Read it.
せめて読むくらいいいじゃねえかよ。
Read it. Battler said it to Jessica in a small voice, trying to act tough, but Natsuhi heard him clearly and glared at him with threatening eyes.
それでマリアはそのベアトリーチェに食事が終わったら読めって
The thought alone kills me. Yes. It's just extremely hilarious.
いいじゃないの皆さん。
The plot twist is that Beatrice was Kinzo all along.
これはおじい様の封筒ではなく、ベアトリーチェの封筒。誰が書いたのかはともかく、中身を聞いてからの判断でもいいんじゃないかしら。
そうやな。お父さんが書いたとは限らんが、中身が気になるのは事実や。
I wanna know too.
さっきは無理やり取ろうとしてすまんかった。謝るから、みんなの前でそれ読み上げてくれんか。
Do it.
マリア、読みなさい。
She's gotta do her best. As all the relatives stared fiercely at Maria, she spread the letter open with a rustle.
本当に親父の手紙だと思うか？ありえんね。親父殿が私たちに何かを発表するときは、直接でなければいつだって源氏を通してじゃないか。
Yep, he has Genji do everything. He just like crawls, accidentally runs into the door And was like, oh, sorry. And immediately, where's Genji? Crowd sneezes in the hallway. Where's Genji? That's right, Maria Messenger. Nah. He is smart, but not like this. She's not a prankster. The words came out of Maria's mouth, but for some reason her voice seemed different than usual. Everyone went suddenly silent. Is this her Beatrice impression? Damn.
よって本日をもちまして、当家顧問錬金術師のお役目を終了させていただきますことを、どうかご了承くださいませ。
Maria should maybe be a voice actress.
くだらん。ざれ言だ。
聞くに耐えません。
さてここで皆様に契約の一部をご説明しなければなりません。私ベアトリーチェは金蔵様にある条件とともに莫大な黄金の貸与をいたしました。その条件とは契約終了時に黄金のすべてを返還すること。そして利息として後ろ宮家のすべてを頂戴できるというものです。
むちゃくちゃや。
初めっからむちゃくちゃだぜ。
要するにあれだろ、よくある悪魔の契約みたいなやつなんだろ。ほんで
It does sound like that.
契約がおしまいってことになるから利子を回収に来たってわけだ。
She's gonna collect the interest back with murder.
長年の退職金のつもりかな。ちゃっかりした魔女だぜ。
バトラ君、今は茶化さない方がいい。
Batra made a face as if to ask, if I can make fun of this, what can I make fun of? Nothing. Some of the adults' faces were pale, while others looked dazed.
これだけをお聞きならば、皆様は金蔵様のことをなんと無慈悲なのかとお嘆きにもなら。しかし金蔵様は皆様に富と名誉を残す機会を設けるため、特別な条項を追加されました。その条項が満たされた時に限り、私は黄金と利子を回収する権利を永遠に失います。
Which is?
特別な条項？
それは何よ？
特別条項。契約終了時にベアトリーチェは黄金と利子を回収する権利を持つ。
Okay.
ただし、隠された契約の黄金を暴いた者がベアトリーチェはこの権利をすべて永遠に放棄しなければならない。
So basically solve the riddle or the gold is mine.
利子の回収はこれより行いますが、もし皆様のうちの誰か一人でも特別条項を満たせたなら、すでに回収した分も含めてすべてお返しいたします。なお、回収の手始めとしてすでに後宮本家の家督を受け継いだことを示す後宮家当主の指輪をお預かりさせていただきました。封印のろうそくにてそれをどうかご確認くださいませ。
これがそうだというのか。親父が指輪を手放すなどありえん。
Oh man. I think this is the first time I've seen Kraus have a different sprite. Kraus stared at the ceiling wax and was trying to burn a hole through it. Zzz. Eva and Rudolph were doing the same over his shoulder.
確かにチェスの時、金蔵さんの指に何か足りんような違和感は感じ取りました。
南條先生、おぼろげな記憶でいい加減なことを言わないように。
その心眼をここでは測れないわ。本当に指輪をおじい様は誰かに手渡したのか、この手紙が本当の話かどうかはおじい様に直接確認すればいいだけの話じゃない。
Ah yes, the entire family marches to Kinzo's room and is like, yo, did you give your ring to Beatrice? Yes.
そうね。
キリエさんの言う通りだわ。
果たして金蔵さんがそれを答えてくれますか。
Very likely he won't.
人の考えは時に人の世の常識では測りかねますからな。
They do indeed.
どの道ざれ言の息を出んね。第一、黄金幻想自体が親父殿のまやかしだ。ありもしない黄金の話を始めるのはお前たちだけで十分だ。
でも魔女様はおっしゃってるわよ。黄金を見つけた者に家督と全ての財産を引き渡すってね。つまりベアトリーチェ様はお父様の顧問弁護士もしくは金庫番でもあられるってことじゃないのかしら。
That sounds ideal.
このような怪しげな文章を子供に託すような怪人物を信用することなどできません。
兄貴、腹を割ってもらうぜ。兄貴の知らない人物が親父の財産管理をしているようなことはあり得るのか。
いや、それはない。私は当主代行として親父殿のすべての財産を把握している。私に知られずにそれらを自由にできる人間はいないはずだ。
Everybody is thrown into confusion here.
つまりクラウス兄さんの把握していない財産ってことじゃないの？
バカな。そんなものあるわけがない。
They probably do.
あるわよ。兄さんが把握していない
Genji.
お父様のそんなものあるわけがありません。
Dude, it's Genji.
いや、あるで。それがお父さんの、いや、ベアトリーチェの隠し黄金や。
Oh, okay. I thought they were talking about like servants.
話を整頓しよう。つまり親父には兄貴も知らない腹心がいた。そしてそいつはずっと黄金の番と運用を任されてきたわけだ。あるいは悪魔の契約まがいのルールで融資した神塚の大富豪か。
その腹心のベアトリーチェさんは自分の黄金を融資する相手として息子兄弟の誰がふさわしいか試したいということなのかしら。
That's a possibility. If it's not outright just an excuse for murder. Kia's question was one of that all the siblings wanted answered. Upon reflection, they realized that Kinzo's strange epitaph had hung in the hall beneath the witch's portrait for quite some time. And while it had long been whispered that whoever solved the puzzle would receive everything, no one had ever clearly stated it. It was just something that everyone had hoped might be true. And right here, right now, the thing they'd hoped for had been clearly stated in Beatrice's letter. It clearly specified that everything of the Oshinomiya family would be given to the one who found the gold.
黄金の隠し場所については、すでに金蔵様が私の肖像画の下に碑文にて公示されております。条件は、碑文を読むことができる者すべてに公平に。黄金を暴けたなら、私はすべてをお返しするでしょう。それではどうか今宵を、金蔵様との知恵比べにて、存分にお楽しみくださいませ。今宵が知的かつ優雅な夜になるよう、心よりお祈りいたしております。
Are we just gonna have some big mind chess?
ベアトリーチェ。
Ooh. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. Alright, I'm back. Alright, so Krause is knocking at the door like, Dad! Open up the door! The door to Kinzo's study was being violently, harshly beaten against over and over again like a percussion instrument. The yells coming from the other side belonged to Krause, Rudolph, and sometimes Eva. It was the siblings who were trying to intrude upon Kinzo's study to question him about the truth behind that mysterious letter. Kinzo was eating. He's like, I don't care, I'm eating. An elegant tablecloth was set over the desk, and a fabulous dinner that had a door on the table down in the dining hall was reproduced here. Kinzo continued his meal in silence. He doesn't care. Shannon, taking away an empty plate, looked uncomfortably between the door being pounded on and Kinzo's face. Jesus! Should I silence them? Yeah. Should I kill them, sir? Kinzo joined his food, apparently indifferent. Genji quietly lowered his head and took a single step back. As he did, Kanon, who stood in reserve like a shadow behind and to the side of Genji, opened his mouth.
Maria-sama ga Beatrice-sama yori tegami o uketorareta to no koto de, sono shingi o tashikametai no deshou.
Oh, he's having a good time. Oh, is it time? Is he gonna yell Beatrice? Oh boy, is this gonna be just mind chess between Beatrice and Kinzo? The power of miracles? Okay. Oh! Seems we got another section finished. Alright. What's next? The strange letter that the witch had entrusted to Maria wiped all memories of dinner from our minds. Maria was repeatedly barraged with questions by Aunt Rosa and the other parents, and became increasingly ill-tempered when they refused to believe her. If we kids tried to butt in, they'd probably ignore us. Our parents were all stirred up, firing back and forth about the gold and the distribution of the assets, and completely forgetting that we were even there. I already guessed that they've been talking like this in the shadows, but I hadn't thought they'd be so blunt. I gave all of us kids a considerable shock. From what we could overhear, all the parents wanted more money as soon as possible. Back and forth about grandfather's inheritance, back and forth about the distribution of the gold if it was found. About advance payments and cash. It was so despicable. I could hardly bear to watch. Even though one of them was my father, it's like, damn, these people arguing about money? Gross. Rich people are gross. It looked like Jessica felt the same way. We left our seats without even being asked to, and went to hang out somewhere well away from our parents.
なるほどな。じいさまが飯の席にも顔を出したくない理由がよーくわかったよ。うちの親たちにはすっかり幻滅だぜ。金だの遺産だの。よくもまああそこまで大っぴらに。
Well, they are money hungry.
クソ親父に幻滅しきってるからよ。これ以上評価の下がりようがないぜ。
You think?
そんなの私だって同じだぜ。しかし、今夜のには呆れたぜ。心底呆れたぜ。
Jessica looked down at the floor, irritated. She was already talking about how bad her parents were, but maybe she hadn't really felt that way deep inside. The death of Jessica's shock made that clear.
未成年の君たちはご両親に養育してもらってるからわからないだろうけど、お金を得るというのは単純な綺麗事じゃないよ。未成年である今にそれを理解しろとは言わない。
Okay.
ご両親なりに何かの努力をしていることだけは認めてあげてほしいな。
やれやれ。ジョージの兄貴は人間ができてるぜ。
Money is indeed hard to get, Battler. It's true.
働いてるけどよ。金とか財産とかそういう話になったら、うちの親父たちみたいに強欲むき出しのハゲタカになれるってのかよ。
I mean, if we're broke?
自分だけの話だったらそんなことはしたくないよ。でも家族や社員、部下やその家族の生活を背負ったら戦わなければならない時もあるかもしれない。
私はそんな戦い嫌だぜ。小さまの遺産がどうのこうのなんて話、ヘドが出るぜ。
Jessica pretended to spit violently. That harsh reaction made the depths of her pain very clear.
もうこの話はやめようぜ。
Let's stop talking about money! It sucks!
黄金がどうのこうの、財産だ遺産だって話は親たちの問題で俺たちの問題じゃないさ。
僕も同感だよ。せめて気を利かせて親たちの話し合いを邪魔しないのが子供の務めだと思うね。
While Maria is sitting right there having to listen to all of this. Free her!
面白くねえぜ。
Everyone knows the phrase adults are filthy. Excuse me. But we had now seen that for ourselves, and that really did give us a considerable shock. George Aniki was now pretty much an adult, and I'd already been disillusioned with my dad, so the shock wasn't that big for us. But Cheska seemed to be taking it hard. Apparently she received a bigger blow than I thought. She always talks badly about her parents, but it looks like she hadn't changed at all on the inside. Even now, she's still a pure-hearted, delicate person who can't doubt others. I'm sure she respected her parents as much as anyone else. And then her parents started bragging about going money, 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 inheritance, inheritance, my money, right in front of all the other parents and the children. It's no surprise she received such a shock from hearing that. I would be like, Mom, I want some of that money.
どうかお父さんとお母さんのことを嫌いにならないで。
They are broke.
理解しろとまでは言わないから、せめてどうか嫌いにならないであげて。
わかってるよ。少し放っておいてくれよ。
6 years ago, I would have kept taunting Jessica even after she got all dejected. But I guess I really have grown over that last 6 years. I realized it'd be better to leave Jessica alone right now. Jessica suddenly looked away sulkily and left the parlor. She probably wanted to be alone for a while. Oh, I could do nothing but wordlessly watch her back as she left.
そういえば、マリアちゃんはどこに行ったんだろう。
多分まだ肖像画の前でいじけてるんだろうぜ。
Oh god, she is free. Maria truly looked up to witches, and she expected that in coming in direct contact with Beatrice and receiving the letter as proof would surprise everyone and make them happy. However, the adults had doubted its authenticity and thoroughly bombarded Maria with questions and refusing to accept her story. Even for me, it wasn't hard to imagine how much that must have hurt Maria. You couldn't speak to Maria or Jessica. In the end, George, Aniki, and I just abandoned ourselves to the sound of the falling rain in the dark night.
台風はどんな感じなんだろうね。
It's probably going crazier.
ニュースをやってないかな。
George Aniki started walking over to the counter of the parlor where the television was. He hadn't called me over, and I really couldn't have cared less where the Typhoon was on the scene now. So without going over the television, I loitered around the window.
そんなに風は出てなさそうだけど、海の上はひどいのかしらね。
Maybe?
天気予報では暴風警報も聞いてたんだけど。
キリエさんか。大人たちの積もる話はどんな感じなんすか？
Kirya's like they're still fighting about money. She seemed to catch the sarcasm. Kirya-san shrugged.
この胃の痛くなる話は徹夜で続くのかしら。嫌になるわ。
まあ、せいぜいよろしく。じい様の財産分配についてハゲタカごっこをお楽しみくださいってんだ。最低の気分だぜ。
You guys like money? I'm out.
それに関しては同感よ。バトラ君みたいに席が外せるなら私もそうしたいわ。 でもそうもいかない。たとえ発言権がなくてもね、パートナーも大変よ。
Damn. Yeah, they do. When Natsuhi dares to speak, she gets torn apart. The poor woman. Kiria-san took a deep breath, smiling bitterly. That's right. It probably wouldn't let Kiria-san speak, since she only married into the family. Still, as Dad's partner, she had no choice but to stay by his side and support him. That sounds very hard. She's probably had to bear the full brunt of his mental pressure much more than me. I wasn't going to apologize, but realizing that I'd spoken too harshly, I cut the sarcasm for the time being.
どんな感じなんすか？相変わらず謎の魔女ベアトリーチェの話題で持ちきりですか？
まあね、あの人たちはおじい様が亡くなった時の遺産分配について兄弟4人で話をまとめようとずっと密約を重ねてきた。そこへ未知の5人目が現れて話をややこしくしようっていうんだから、穏便な話のわけもないわ。互いを罵り合ったり、かと思えば共闘しようってことになったり、夏日姉さんでなくても頭痛がしてくるところよ。
I'd get headaches from those conversations too. On the one hand, they all want a larger portion than the other siblings, so they're all rivals. But on the other hand, they don't want the 1 yen to be snatched up by anyone other than the siblings, so they're also all allies. I hadn't been told the details, but the siblings were apparently discussing how to protect their shares under various situations. Setting up ceasefire agreements and rules to prevent anyone from getting an unfair advantage, even preparing to resort to legal action if absolutely necessary. Jeez. They would go this far to preserve their shares, was so beyond disgusting that you just had to acknowledge their resilience.
ってことは、ベアトリーチェはじいさまからの資格ってとこですかね。
That's a way to look at Beatrice. An assassin that comes from the sky with that beautiful dress and then is like, shank.
何者かしらね、ベアトリーチェって。自称してることが全て本当なら、今日まで誰にも知られずにいた謎の人物で、しかもおじい様の隠し黄金の存在を知っていて、
She is probably beautiful.
その上当主の指輪まで委ねられている。相当に信頼された人物ね。
さすがにほうきにまたがった魔女だとは思わないっすけど、でも魔女と呼ぶに値する怪人物であることは間違いないっすね。
I wonder why?
マリアちゃんがそのあたりのことを詳しく話してくれればいいの。みんな小さい子にがっつきすぎだわ。
Poor
怯え
girl.
てしまって、聞けるものも聞けなくなってしまった。
Welp.
あの人たち、北風と太陽とか読んだことないのかしら。
確かなのは、マリアがベアトリーチェと名乗る人物から手紙を受け取ったこと。自分で現れて直接話せばいいものも。
ねえ、バトラ君。
Yes?
ベアトリーチェなんて人物が本当にいると思う？
I do. I believe.
さあ、あくまでも偽名じゃないっすかね。じい様の代理人として、その妄想の中の魔女の名を名乗ることを許された、とか。
そうじゃなくて、今この六軒島には全部で18人いるの。
Do you think there's a 19th person?
存在すると思う？
Oh, I think so. I think there's a possibility. Are there really a full 18 people on this island right now? Wondering about that, I began counting on my fingers, and it really did come out to that many.
19人目が存在すると思うって。どういう意味ですか？
Possibly.
言葉通りの意味よ。マリアちゃんに傘を貸した人物は私たち18人の中にはいないらしい。なら19人目がいて、その人物がマリアちゃんに傘を貸したと思うのが妥当じゃない？
That is a possibility.
そうなりますね。
It's not very hard to hide in a boat, right? Or to hide in a mansion.
今どこにいるの？少なくとも雨が降り出した瞬間には島にいた。そしてその後はどんどん天気が悪化して、とても船なんか出せない状態。
That's
とな
true.
れば、その人物はまだ島の中にいて、どこかで雨宿りをしていなくてはならない。
Who knows?
私たち誰の目にも触れずね。
確かに。俺たちは屋敷やゲストハウスの中を勝手にうろつき回ってましたが、誰も19人目なんかには会ってないわけですよね。
で
もまあ、これだけの広さのある島ですし、 屋敷やゲストハウス以外に雨宿りできるところだってあるのかも。
That's true. At about this time, I began to realize what direction Kirya-san's suspicions were taking us in. Kirya-san was denying that a 19th person existed. Beatrice was one of us 18. That sounds plausible. In other words, she thought someone we knew well was tricking us.
ベアトリーチェが自称する通りなら、その人物は間違いなく最高の賓客よ。おじい様が信頼する最高の腹心。
Which is none of you except Genji
そんな人物
and
を
Nanjo.
おじい様が歓待しないわけがない。お屋敷に迎え入れないわけはない。
Imagine Genji with a Beatrice costume then.
でも、私たちは誰も見ていない。
待ってくださいよ。それはちょいと正急な推理じゃないですか。
I think it makes
確
sense.
かに誰の目にも触れてはいないけれど、だからって19人目を否定することにはならないんじゃないですか。何かの理由があってこっそり上陸してずっと隠れているのかも。
I can imagine that sort of thing coming out too, but I do think Umineko might take the there was never a 19th person route. Or there were 19 and someone we thought was someone else ended up being two different people or something.
いることを証明するのはたやすい。ベアトリーチェってやつが俺たちの前に現れて挨拶すりゃ解決する。でも19人目がいないことを証明するのは不可能っすよ。
バトラ君の推理の仕方は悪くないわ。現在の状況では19人目の存在を認めるにも否定するにも情報が足りない。でもね、チェス盤をひっくり返して考えると、ほぼ19人目はありえない。
If you spin the chessboard around, that's an interesting way to see it. Where have I heard this expression before? Spin the chessboard around was one of Kirya-san's favorite phrases. I've been influenced by those words and used them myself from time to time. When you get stuck trying to find a move in chess or shogi, then by spinning the board around and looking at everything from your opponent's standpoint, you can often see a strategy that will give you the upper hand. It means turning things around and putting yourself in your opponent's shoes.
いい？仮に19人目の人物としてベアトリーチェが実在したとして、その人物は誰にも知られることなくこっそりとこの島に上陸し、ずっと隠れていた。何かの理由があってね。ならどうしてわざわざ姿を現してマリアちゃんに手紙を渡したの？
It really was a contradiction. They had some reason for hiding themselves, then they should have stayed hidden the whole time. But even so, they had appeared openly in front of Maria, probably in costume.
それは、ほら、マリアも言ってた。メッセンジャーにされたって言ってたじゃないですか。マリアが一番年下で素直そうだったからじゃ。
That's another way to get this to work, I think. Like them dressing up as Beatrice, saying they are Beatrice, they want her to give the message, and that can only someone who knows who Maria is like can do that, even like just in the slightest way.
手紙を親族会議の席上に送りたかったら郵送すればいいだけの話よ。
That's also true.
4人の兄弟全員に郵送すれば黙殺することもできない。手紙を持参してこっそり手渡す理由がないのよ。
確かに、なんだかおかしな話っすね。
I wonder what the reasoning behind that would be. Probably to if they had not sent if they had sent the letter like Hiria said, I think it would be harder to spice up the idea that there's a 19th person on the island instead of like giving personally to Maria, right? By giving the letter to Maria personally and giving her a name like Beatrice, it makes it easier to cause disarray and confusion because you know Maria has been given both the letter and the umbrella. You don't know who it was, so it's easy to cause that discomfort like, hey, is there really a 19th person on this island? While if it was just mailed, it's very easy to believe, yeah, well, someone is just using a pen name, right?
なのに現れず、マリアちゃんという小さな子を通して、おぼろげな輪郭だけでその存在を主張しようとする曖昧さ。 矛盾。もっと考えて。マリアちゃんの前に姿を現し、
Exactly. Kiria has the idea exactly what as I was saying.
今この瞬間も私たちの前に姿を現さず隠れ続けている点。これらの矛盾。これを念頭に置いた上でチェス盤をひっくり返すの。つまり19人目の人物としてベアトリーチェがいると印象づけたい人物の目論見は何かよ。
Probably to cause disarray and discomfort, right? To cause confusion.
その存在をアピールするわけがない。
That too.
そして姿を現したい人物なら手紙を託すなんて遠回しをするわけがない。ってことは
簡単よ。ベアトリーチェは18人の中にいるのよ。
Is one of the 18 people.
18人以外の人物が存在するような幻想を作り出しているのよ。
Yes, to cause distrust as well.
19人目のアピール。それで得をするのは姿を潜めた19人目じゃない。
It will be one of them.
すでにいる18人の方なのよ。もちろんこの推理は穴だらけ。いくつかの前提がひっくり返るだけですぐに崩れる脆いものだけど、私はほぼ間違いないと見てるわ。
This is starting to feel pretty creepy. Someone lent Maria the umbrella and handed her the letter. Supposedly none of the 18 did this. Yeah, well, I think one of them is lying, and yet Beatrice was hidden among those 18. What was this person planning, hiding their true form and pretending to be Beatrice?
マリアちゃんの自作自演も疑ったんだけど、文章の内容が非常に手が込んでて、マリアちゃんが自前で用意したとは考えがたい。
Yeah, it was someone
でも
else.
マリアちゃんが何者かと共謀している可能性も否定できないわ。
おいおい、マリアは9歳のお子様だぜ。
Yes.
誰と何を共謀するってんだよ。
Exactly.
愚直で真面目で素直なあの性分だぜ。
Yeah, it would be hard.
私もマリアちゃんの性分はよく理解しているわ。
Do you?
でもだからこそあり得ると思うの。魔女に憧れ、その存在を盲信している夢見がちな少女。
Yes, it would be easy to trick her. If you knew her.
人物が現れて魔女だと名乗ったら、彼女はそれを大喜びで鵜呑みにして信じるんじゃないかしら。
Yes, Kiryu-san, you're smart. You are going into the same train of thought that I am.
あの肖像画のごついドレスを着て変装すれば、マリアを騙すことは難しくないと。
その論法になっちゃうと、私たち女性陣はみんな疑われちゃうことになるんだけどね。
Not necessarily. I can't imagine even one of the men doing it.
とにかく、マリアちゃんが何者に出会ったの
Like
か、
pads and stuff.
それの詳細を聞くことが、この
And
謎を解く一番にして最も身近な鍵なのよ。
Beatrice has like big sleeves too, right? So I think you can, even like with thicker arms, you can hide it.
しかしその鍵は
You can hide like thicker arms and all.
かたくなに閉ざされてしまったわ。みんなが頭ごなしに魔女の存在を否定し、一体その人物は誰なのかと問い詰めすぎた。マリアちゃんは当分大人には心を開かないでしょうね。
Welp, the adults done hacked up. In the dim hall in front of the portrait of Beatrice, Maria was sobbing. Oh no! The adults bullied you.
ベアトリーチェとくれた手紙も見せたのに、それでも信じてくれないの。
No, poor thing. She saw Beatrice.
鍵はマリアちゃんが握ってるわ。ベアトリーチェが18人の中にいるのか、19人目なのか、それを知る鍵をね。
マリアは頑固だぜ。あいつへそを曲げるとなかなか機嫌を直さないからな。
That is true.
大人の私より子供のバトラ君の方が機嫌を直せる確率は高そうよ。彼女の機嫌が直ったら聞いてみて。
And then make her mad
遺産
again.
分配がどうのこうのって話には関心ないけど、こんな王道洋館ミステリーみたいなシチュエーションにはワクワクしちゃわない？
I do.
マリアちゃんに手紙を渡した人物は一体誰なのか。
I want to know who it
知的好
is.
奇心がうずくわ。
うんざりするような金の話に付き合わされても、ワクワクとは、実にタフなことだぜ。大人はすげえや。
I shrugged exasperately, but I did notice something. Kiria noticed how dejected I was after overhearing our parents' turbulent discussion, and was probably trying to clear the air. At the very least, I'd recovered enough to voice my complaints. She wasn't my real mother, so I'd never felt like calling her mom. But it did make me think she's a real adult.
Oh, ガキども、ここにいたのか。
Hey, you little brats!
キリエも長え化粧直しじゃねえか。俺も次からは化粧をしてくることにするぜ。
ごめんなさい。女の化粧は長いのよ。
It does, yes.
兄弟水入らずの話し合いは。
さぞや和気あいあいとしてるだろうよ。
Kiria-san poked the weak spot under my arm with her elbow.
一度頭を冷やそうってことで小休止さ。こりゃ夜通しになりそうだぜ。
Looks like it. You guys are fighting about money. Deal with it. I couldn't say I was sympathetic, but he looked pitiful compared to his normal, energetic self.
しかしひでえ雨だな。
It is.
ゲストハウスに戻るのも嫌になるぜ。夏日姉さんが屋敷で泊まれるよう準備してくれたらしい。どうする？
Sleep. Go sleep.
時に考えてもいいんじゃない？部屋に戻る体力もなくなってたら、その時はお世話になりましょうよ。
そうだな。その時に考えりゃいいか。バトラーはどうする？
俺がいちゃお邪魔だろうからよ。
Yes, you would.
向こうに戻るぜ。
Oh god, he's like, I'm not gonna stay with my parents. You two are gonna smash, I know it.
そうか。すぐ戻るのか？
さあな。一人で戻ったって寂しいしよ。子供全員で揃って帰ることにするぜ。
そうだな。そうするといい。それで、バトラー、お前、今夜はそうは簡単には寝ないだろう。
Probably not.
多分、いとこたちとおしゃべりしてるだろうからな。夜更かししそうな気配はあるぜ。それがどうかしたのかよ。
そうか。もし、大人たちの会議が終わってお前がまだ起きてたら、ちょいと家族でしたい話があるんだ。
Okay. Sounds a little bit ominous. Apparently, Kiria-san was thinking the same thing. What are you talking about? She asked him in a small voice. It looks like Kiria-san didn't have a clue what that meant either. Okay. Are you planning something? He sounds so serious. I have a bad feeling about this. I don't know anyone who neglects the concept of family as much as this old bastard. And now he's saying we're gonna have a talk as a family. Both Kiria-san and I couldn't help but get wide-eyed. What are you planning then? Why are you terrified? At the point he swallowed his word for an instant. Even though putting on airs of importance wasn't much like my dad.
気持ち悪いぜ、親父。今、家族は全員揃ってるじゃねえかよ。もったいぶらずに言えよ。
俺は多分、今夜、殺されるだろうな。
Oh no. That expression, brightly illuminated by the lightning, was burned into my eyes. Dad's face, which always looked so sure of itself, which always wore a taunting expression, was strangely frail in a way I couldn't really explain. It was so worn out that he looked like a different person.
は？何言ってんだよ、ガラでもね。
同感よ。どうしたの？急に弱気ね。
Oh god, did the other adults threaten to kill?
あなたらしくもない。
俺も化粧直しに行ってくる。
I'm gonna die, so I'm gonna fix my makeup. Don't follow me. But going out alone is probably gonna ensure you're gonna be killed, man. Don't do that! Dad turned away weakly. After that, only Kirie and I were left, still wide-eyed.
なんだってんだ？今夜殺される？
おー。
まさか。あの妙な手紙のせいで、親父ビビっちまったのか？連続殺人者の映画の見過ぎだぜ。
Kirie-san didn't answer my light-hearted words and continued to stare at my dad's disappearing back.
バトラ君はルドルフさんに今話せと言ったら話さず立ち去った。みんなに話すことがあると言い出しながら答えなかった。どうして？チェス盤をひっくり返す。すると
話すと言っておきながら話せない矛盾。
He wanted to say, I actually kind of like you guys.
見えるわよ。話したいことがある。でも自分から言い出す勇気がない。だから追ってきて俺に話しかけて聞き出してくれが正解ね。
So Kirie is gonna do it.
ついてくるなも逆の意味よ。ついてきて俺を問い詰めてくれが正解。まったく甘えん坊さんなんだから。
She knows him so well.
そういう推理でいいんすか？そんなんめちゃくちゃな。
名探偵や名刑事が男女の気持ちや心を推理できる？できないでしょ？異性の気持ちを探るのは何次元のトリックを暴くよりはるかに高度な技術なのよ。私に言わせれば名作推理小説より恋愛小説の方がよっぽど難解なミステリーなんだから。
はあ、そういうもんすかね。
私はあの甘えん坊さんと一緒にいるわ。普段は虚勢を張ってるけど、今夜はかなりの激論で疲れ切ってる。誰かに寄りかかりたい気持ちなんでしょうね。
I can imagine. That was the discussion from last episode was rough and it was more intense. I can't even imagine how hardcore it was.
はあ。そりゃお熱いことで。じゃあ、うちのクソ親父の世話をよろしく頼みますよ。
ええ、任せておいて。
I called out to Kirie-san's departing back.
え？何？
いや、ありがとよって。
お
かげで、陰鬱な気分がだいぶ晴れたぜ。
Yes, wholesome mom and son moment.
ならよかった。コミュニケーションは大事ね。
Yes. Good. Yay! After answering with a wink, Kirie-san followed after that. Probably not gonna be a good sign. Natsuhi could be found in the dimly lit hallway. Now and then, the thunder would crash, but this had no effect on Natsuhi's expression. She was completely worn out. The discussion that had just taken place between the relatives in the dining hall was repeating itself inside Natsuhi's mind. Are we gonna see it? Beatrice had proclaimed that in addition to the gold, all of the inheritance and property of the Shiromiya family would be given to the person who would solve the riddle. In other words, she planned to undermine the absolute guarantee that Cross, as the oldest brother, had to succeed the family head. Originally, the other siblings had absolutely no chance to inherit the headship. To them, this proposal by Beatrice was extremely desirable. It was obvious that they would accept it. There was no need to play some clumsy detective game. Natsuhi knew that this so-called 19-person Beatrice couldn't exist. Naturally, Beatrice was nothing more than a fictional character used to pass a message that Kinzo had written himself. As proof, Kinzo had remained stubbornly neutral as to that letter's authenticity. He was completely ignoring these reckless claims that he shouldn't be able to ignore, that he had given up the head's ring. In short, Kinzo had wordlessly admitted that the letter held his own message. Most likely, one of the servants had given Maria the letter. Kinzo had probably worked out an elaborate plan where the dress from the portrait would be prepared, and so someone, probably Shannon, would be made to wear it and deliver the letter and the umbrella. Makes sense, actually. But by doing that, he could make it seem like the witch from the portrait actually existed. No, if anything, that alone was proof that Kinzo was behind all this. In that case, it was the same as Kinzo trying to butt in on the siblings' private discussion. Then Kinzo, by announcing that he'd give everything to the person who solved the riddle, would weaken Krause's overwhelming advantage. Now it was certain. Kinzo had eavesdropped on the siblings' discussion in the parlor earlier that day. That he did anyway, so he had known how Krause had staved off the attack by the other three, and to make scales of the battle go back into balance, he had sent out this strange letter, which benefited Krause's rivals. He was trying to push this crazy theory so that Rosa, who had weak position among the siblings because of her age, would join with Eva and Rudolph. Then, with a 3-1 advantage, they'd be able to overwhelm Kraus yet again and make the ridiculous theory get accepted by force. And by doing that, he gave them the power to resettle what had once been a nearly decided conflict. They had now started repeatedly pressing Kraus to pay them a large amount of money. Using the condition that all of the siblings would guarantee Kraus' position as a successor, talk about advance payments was being brought up again despite having been rejected once. Of course, even without the story about the hidden gold, the Shiromiya family's store of wealth was vast. That store of wealth alone was more than enough. Even if the hidden gold was buried forever along with Kinzo's death, there would be more than enough to satisfy. Therefore, even if they weren't that interested in the gold itself, Kinzo had managed to instill that lifelong fear that, on the off chance that someone found the gold, that person would be granted the headship. And this kind of Achilles heel would definitely be taken advantage of by someone sooner or later. The only person with this fatal weakness was the successor Kraus. The other siblings had found, no, they had been told by Kinzo about something that only Kraus could lose, and they had thoroughly taken advantage of that. Natsuhi, as Kraus' only ally in his painful position and in his life, wanted to fight alongside him. She kept trying to explain to him that the existence of gold itself was a farce and that there were no need for him to compromise. Kraus had always told Natsuhi. He had told all of the siblings. He always said that the hidden gold was nothing more than an illusion created by Kinzo. Therefore, Natsuhi had believed it as his wife, and had supported her husband on that foundation. Even so, Natsuhi's word didn't reach Kraus. Even though Natsuhi had fought so hard and had lent all of her strength, he continued to fight by himself and was trying to compromise with the other 3 siblings. Natsuhi sadly and weakly wondered why she could not be of use to him, then started getting angry. That happened when everyone decided to take a short break to cool their heads. Natsuhi had flared up against Kraus. In rage, she had asked why she could not be useful to him. He had then told her that he wanted to talk about something, and invited her into a room that she was normally not allowed to enter. That room had been sealed with a heavy-looking padlock, and just looking at it had given her an uncomfortable feeling.
他の3人の言うことも、ベアトリーチェを名乗る不審人物の言うことも、何も気にかけることはありません。黄金など所詮はお父様が生み出したまやかし。それを見つけられることなどあるわけがない。あなたが跡継ぎであることは盤石です。何を恐れることがあるのです。
Oh? He then motioned for Natsuhi to enter.
入りたまえ。
We're gonna smash Natsuhi, come in.
なんですか?
It is time.
見せたいものがある。
When you get mad, I get so turned on, Natsuhi, let's go! Okay, sorry for that. That was terrible. There's something I want you to see.
君に初めて見せるものだ。
Natsuhi timidly opened the door with a dubious expression on her face. It was pitch black. She searched for a switch to turn on the lights, but since this was her first time in the room, she didn't know where it was. Kraus entered behind her, pushing her in, and when he closed the door before turning on the lights, they were swallowed by the darkness. Time for smash, not a chamber with the switch. Only the sound of Kraus locking the door rang out through the dark.
これは何事？明かりは？
今つける。待ちたまえ。
We are getting ready. Just as he said, when Kraus pushed a switch on the wall, a flickering light turned on and lit up the room.
それは?
Natsuhi had her breath taken away. The room had no windows, and at a glance it appeared to be empty. In the middle of the room, a small round table had been set, and the lights brightened only that table, as if it were leading part in a play. On top of the table, a red tablecloth of elaborate design had been set out, covered with dust. And on top of that, something about the size of a grown man's arm had been set down. Okay, that something took Natsuhi's breath away. Gold. Oh my god, so he has one! It was an ingot of solid gold. Even in the faint light, it sparkled with a noble and dignified glint. They are now floating with the chandelier.
このインゴットを鋳造したのが国内なのか国外なのか、それすらも私にはわからないんだ。
It took a high level of skill to make the purest of solid gold ingots, and in order to verify that purity, it was standard to have the original foundry and the name of the bank that guaranteed it imprinted on gold. However, this ingot did not have that kind of seal. This mysterious gold bar had come from an unknown foundry.
ここを見たまえ、怯えることはない。こいつはただの金塊だ。
Natsuhi, following Krause's words, timidly approached the ingot.
そこだ。
Krause pointed at the surface of the ingot. Natsuhi concentrated on that section. Oh, it's the one wing, isn't it? Right there was a thin imprint of the one-winged eagle crest. Natsuhi's breath was taken away once again.
これこそが親父がベアトリーチェに与えられたといい、保証人のマルソーの会長に任意で一つを抜き取らせて持ち帰らせ、財界のフィクサーたちを信用させたという。
I wonder if he actually believes after all then.
他の兄弟たちより早くね。
そんな、じゃあお父様の黄金伝説は
実在する。
Oh, so he knows.
後宮金蔵が授けられたベアトリーチェの黄金は。
She's just trying to press that it's fake so that nobody else thinks about looking, right?
本当にあるなんて。
Natsuhi was shocked. Krause had always said that Kinzo's gold was just a fabrication, so she had to believe it as his wife. However, the reality was different. Since he held definite proof, he had been more certain than any of the other siblings that the legend of the gold was true. Because of this, Krause was deeply frightened at the possibility that someone other than himself would find the gold he'd failed to find, costing him everything. But to Natsuhi, this truth was more than enough to split open her heart. She had thought that, as Krause's wife, she could be his closest confidant, which was why she had selflessly supported him. And yet, he hid this fact from her until today. Why? Oh.
そこまでに私はあなたの信頼に足りないというのですか。
そういうつもりはない。話す必要がなかっただけだ。
No need. Oh, come on.
あなたにとっては妻はその程度のものなのですか。
Oh. Poor Natsuhi.
劇場にすぐ駆られるのは君の悪い癖だ。
It's crazy. You sound way more confident talking than the time I met you in France. Impressive. Thanks. Partially it's because I'm reading.
あなたがそうさせてるんじゃないですか。私は後ろ宮家に嫁ぎ、
And maybe because I've been streaming for a while.
あなたのために生まれた家を捨て、身も心も捧げてお仕えしてきました。
Oh my god, that is poor Natsuhi. She had such a bad. She got such the short end of the stick here. Krause grimaced, looking annoyed. His expression effectively communicated how much he disliked this part of Natsuhi, even if he didn't say it out loud. Then why did you marry her?
もうあなたの力になれそうもありません。
Oh no!
それでいい。
What? Fuck off!
兄弟のトラブルを私が自分の力で解決。
What the hell, man?
君の力は借り。
Come on! Why are you such a horrible husband?
違います。これは後ろ宮家のトラブルです。確かに私にはこの身に家紋を刻むことが許されていません。でもあなたの妻です。なのに私には力添えする資格もないのですか。
I think he's saying that.
あなた。
君を思えばこそあえて関わらせなかった。
What are you trying to say?
これ以上は頭痛に触るだろ
う。
君は今夜はこれで休みたまえ。
God, I don't know.
兄弟の話は兄弟でつける。君は関係ない。それだけだ。
I think she's gonna get a splitting headache from this conversation. dull headache tormented Natsuhi. No matter what medicine she took, no matter what scent she burned, it wouldn't heal. Yeah, it's stress, my lady. In fact, simply wandering alone through the dark corridors and listening to the sound of the rain seemed to be a better cure. I may be Natsuhi, but I was never Ushiromiya Natsuhi. I have been despised and treated as a borrowed womb and insulted when I couldn't even fill that role. Damn, that's rough. Even so, I have tried to properly perform my duties as a wife. But now even my husband has rejected me. I've done my best raising my daughter as if it were the last job left to me. However, I've had no release for my anger and sadness, and they've caused me to subconsciously strain that relationship too. Because I've been excessively strict in Jessica's education, she disliked me thoroughly. She despises me for having no interest in anything but grades. Oh man, there is no longer anything I can do for the Ushiromiya family. No. That's no good. Despite it all, I must help my husband and beat back the schemes of the other greedy siblings. The family head won't be around much longer. Eventually, Kraus will succeed the head, and the next successor will be Jessica. Strictly speaking, the man who entered the family by marrying Jessica will become the next head, but it all comes to the same thing. I have to make Jessica an excellent successor to whom everyone will accept as worthy to take over the Ushiromiya family. In the days to come, that greedy Ushiromiya Eva will probably be plotting to find some fault with the main family. And if all goes as she plans, Jessica will be dragged down from the succession with George set up in her place. It is regrettable, but George is a man and even more has matured as a person. Compared to Jessica, who is right in the middle of her rebellious period and whose grades are slightly below average, it can be seen at a glance who is more fit to succeed the head. So in order to secure Jessica's position, I need to turn her into an excellent person. After doing that, I want to find her excellent husband worthy of the excellent person she will have become. A wonderful man who will truly accept Jessica and stay with her through all of life's joys and sorrows. Was Natsuhi trying to entrust her daughter with fulfilling some desire of her own? Very likely, yeah. I mean, her husband kinda sucks. Natsuhi had thought back to the days when she'd had no choice but to marry into the Ushiromiya family because of that unavoidable fate. She had tried to block that from her memory. She had consciously forgotten it and had actively attended to the life she'd been given as Ushiromiya Natsuhi. And in doing so, she had built up a new life. Are you implying she was arranged, married, or something? But just now, it felt like all of that had been casually rejected. Natsuhi helplessly rested her head against the glass of the window, the glass which was cool thanks to the raindrops beating against it. Felt somehow refreshing. Even though it should have been emotionless, right then it seemed to be the only thing that could understand Natsuhi. At that point, even if someone had appeared, Natsuhi didn't intend to pay any attention to them. But she did pay attention. Because it was her beloved daughter. What's Jessica doing? Just like always, her words were rough and not at all like a girl's. Instinctively, words of rebuke rose to Natsuhi's throat. However, their strength gave out and they didn't escape her lips. Jessica, ごめんね。母さんは頭痛がひどいの。そっとしといてくれる。Oh. Jessica was seeing her mother in a position of feebleness for the first time, so she was considerably discontorted. Until just now, she'd been filled with contempt for all of her parents, including her mother. But now those feelings had been completely swept away. Her mother's utterly exhausted face had wiped them all out. Damn, I mean, Natsuhi today just got roasted by Eva to death, and now her husband basically admits, yeah, I don't trust you, I don't care. In its place, the words George had told her floated back up in her mind. Our parents are doing their best in their own way, and because their family are counting on them, they can afford to keep everything pleasant and have a heavy responsibility to fight. Maybe her mother had been standing around this dimly lit hallway because no one had tried to understand that in her. Jessica hated her mother, so she had no intention of speaking kindly to Natsuhi just because she was looking a bit frail. So when she attempted to speak kindly to her mother anyway, she had to clench her fist and gather up the words from deep in her heart.
Oh no. 頭痛ひどい？私、薬もらってこようか。
構わないで結構です。お願いだから、一人きりにして。
Oh man. Natsuhi wasn't being cold. She just wanted her daughter to go far away so that she wouldn't have to bump against Natsuhi's own short temper. But there was no chance that Jessica would realize this. Uh-oh. Jessica hung her head, looking sad. Seeing that expression, Natsuhi recognized the kindness that Jessica was trying to muster. She gave her head a small shake to drive away her own unkind feelings.
じゃあ私、行くよ。大人の邪魔にならないように、いとこたちと一緒にいるから。じゃあ。
お待ちなさい。
She called Jessica, was trying to leave and looked lonely to a stop.
何？
気遣いを。ありがとう。お前を残して寝込むわけにはいきません。
Oh.
よせよ。演技でもないぜ。
She's trying to show some care.
もう大丈夫です。私は行きます。
If I let my daughter see me this feeble any longer, I will only make her feel more uneasy. With that thought in mind, Natsuhi left Jessica with words of gratitude and made to depart. This time Jessica called out to her mother's back. Natsuhi stopped and turned around, asking what business Jessica had with her. But Jessica herself didn't know why she stopped her mother. And for a while she smiled wryly, muttering to herself as she hesitated over what to say. She was poking around in her pocket when her hand touched something and she took it out.
あのさ、母さん、私さ、今日お守りもらったんだよ。
Oh, is she gonna give the charm to her?
魔除けだったっけ？確かそのドアノブにぶら下げてるといいんだっけ？忘れちまったぜ。私が持ってても仕方ないし。
Yes, the doorknob secret.
母さんにあげるよ。
Put this in Krause's wallet so that the money never goes away. It was the scorpion charm that Maria had given her on the beach. Although she heard of its various effects from Maria, Jessica's mind had gone blank, and she was just barely able to say even that much. Jessica, thinking that her mother probably wouldn't have accepted anyway, immediately drew back the hand she had stuck out, grasping the charm. So when Natsuhi came back to take it, she was extremely shocked.
これは何かの景品？
まあその私も多分そうだろうと思ってるけどよ。こんなおもちゃみたいなお守りじゃご利益は期待できねえよな。
But her mother took the charm from her. She grasped it in her hand.
ありがとう。大切にします。ジェシカには今度、私が子供の頃大切にしていたお守りを代わりにあげましょう。
お！Mom and daughter bonding moment.
そんなつもりで渡すんじゃないぜ。でもまあ、どうしてもって言うなら。
では、私はもう休みます。頭痛がひどいので、ジェシカもあまり夜更かしをしすぎないように。
うん。
Oh, that was nice. Natsuhi put the charm in her pocket and turned away. She then disappeared into the dark hall. Here's a mother who appreciates her daughter. Unlike Rosa. Who's next?
やっぱり明日も丸一日こんな天気みたいだね。
Let's see if I manage one more dialogue before I finish for today's stream. It seems the weather will be like this tomorrow after all.
やれやれ。今日の日中が嘘のようだぜ。
George, Aniki and I were killing time in front of the parlor television. At that point, Jessica had returned. Her face was still blank, but it looked like she had calmed down a little since we'd last seen her.
マリアはまだ肖像画前？
いや、さっき戻ってきて。今はそっちのソファーで寝てるぜ。
Yes, sleep.
マリアにはもう遅い時間だもんな。
Looking at the clock, I saw it was a little past 10 p.m. It's way past 10 p.m. for me, though. Even if we were planning to stay up all night, it was about time to head back to our room.
一応、うちのお袋が屋敷にも部屋を用意してくれたんだけどよ。どうする？
僕はゲストハウスに戻りたいかな。
Alright.
親たちの様子を見る限り、僕たちはお屋敷にいない方がいいと思う。
Yeah, the parents won't stop yelling at each other.
子供は邪魔せず引っ込んでろって感じみてえだからな。 おとなしくそうするさ。
As we were talking about this, Aunt Rosa came into the parlor. She was looking all over restlessly, probably trying to find Maria.
ローザおばさん。マリアならそこのソファーっすよ。
ありがとう。すっかり眠っちゃってるわね。ベッドに移さないと。
よかったら僕がベッドまで背負っていきましょうか。
ありがとう。助かるわ。
Yes, please let George carry her. I don't trust you.
ゲストハウスに戻るの？それとも夏日姉さんが用意してくれた部屋に泊まるのかしら。今話し合ってました。ゲストハウスへ戻ろうかって話になったところです。そう。ならマリアも一緒にしてあげてもいいかしら。いとこのみんなと一緒の方がきっと安心できると思うしね。
I definitely will be much more reassured if she's with the cousins instead of with you. Behind those words, she seemed to be concealing some regret that the adults, herself included, had deeply hurt Maria's feelings. You definitely did. After the shit from today? Damn.
それは僕のことかい？僕だけじゃ無理だよ。みんなでだよ。
そうだぜ。バトラだってあんなにもマリアと意気投合してふざけ合ってたじゃねえかよ。
As we said this, Aunt Rosa smiled, looking truly happy.
みんなありがとう。私たちの話し合いはだいぶ遅くまでかかりそう。だから申し訳ないけどマリアをみんなにお願いするわ。
おいマリア、熟睡か？ゲストハウスに戻るぞ。
Maria muttered something indistinct, rolled over, and fell back asleep. Looked like she was sleeping deeply.
すっかり寝込んじゃったようだぜ。
No.
起こすのは悪いな。
Just take her.
僕が背負うよ。
Yes. Do it. Maria's body was lighter than it looked. I lifted her up and put her on George Aniki's back. It was raining hard outside, and Aniki couldn't hold an umbrella and carry Maria at the same time. It looked like Aunt Rosa would come with us as far as the guest held to help out. However, when she heard Uncle Krause's voice call out to her, she had no choice but to return.
困ったわね。もう戻らないと。あ、皆さんゲストハウスまでお戻りですか？
After we left the hall on the way to the entrance, the door to the servant room opened and Shannon-chan stepped out.
だいぶ暗くなっておりますので、私がご案内させていただきます。ちょうどよかったわ、シャノンちゃん。ジョージ君がマリアをおぶっていてくれるの。傘をさしてあげてくれないかしら。はい、かしこまりました。
Alrighty. Shannon-chan brought the umbrellas for each of us and a flashlight to guide the way. As we opened the front door, the downpour was quite terrific. It looked like we wouldn't have any spare time to take a pleasant walk and enjoy the nighttime rose garden.
兄貴、重くねえか？俺が背負うぜ。
大丈夫だよ。マリアちゃんくらい背負えるよ。
イェイ！
本当にありがとうね。マリアをよろしくお願い。わかりました。じゃあおやすみなさい、おばさん。それではお送りしてまいります。ええ、よろしく。
Aunt Rosa watched us leave.
マリア、いつもごめんね。
You better be sorry. Rosa's mumbling voice didn't reach the person in question, nor any of the kids, but disappeared beneath the sound of the rain. After cutting through the rainy rose garden, we arrived at the guest house.
俺がマリアを背負って立候補すりゃよかったぜ。そうすりゃ傘をさしてくれるシャノンちゃんのでっけえお乳を二の腕でた。
Oh my god, Battler, I'm gonna snap your arm.
そんなつもりじゃないよ。誤解だよ。
そうしないとジョージ様が濡れてしまうと思いまして。
Battler, best boy. He is not my best boy.
バカなこと言ってないで入るぜ。
After being urged on by Jessica, we folded up our umbrellas and went into the guest house.
お召し物を濡らしてしまった方はいらっしゃいませんか？タオルを用意いたしますが。
そこまで気を使わなくていいぜ。ありがとよ、シャノンちゃん。
そうだ。僕たちはこれからトランプでもして少し遊ばないかって話なんだけど、よかったら。
あれ？今日のシフト、深夜勤は誰になってんだ？
I don't know.
親族会議中は特別シフトになってたと思いました。少し変更も出てるみたいなので、ちょっと確認してきます。
ああ、わざわざ屋敷に戻らないとわからないんなら無理に。
あ、大丈夫です。ゲストハウスの使用人室でわかりますので、ちょっと失礼しますね。
Shannon-chan gave a quick bow and went to the guest house servant room. The rest of us headed for the cousin's room and decided to put Maria to bed for the time being. Maria was sleeping very deeply and there was absolutely no sign of her eyes opening. For now, we'd get some soft drinks out of the room's refrigerator and drink those while playing cards or something. I think this might be a good spot to stop for today. Let me save. Don't die out on me, mouse, please. I always save 2 spots just in case. So. Yes. Alright. So, I think I'm gonna stop for today. I've been reading for 3 hours and a half by now. I think it's a good spot to stop too, because then we have a couple of dialogues for the night before the next morning comes in the story. So I think I'm not sure if I'm gonna stream next week again with Umineko. Maybe I will, just to see how far I can get with the chapter. Let me just double check if I really did save. Yes, I did. Alright. Back to the title. Enough for today. Alright. That was a pretty interesting chapter with some... Not chapter, sorry. It was an interesting portion of this chapter. A lot of tensions are rising. I'm wondering if with Rudolph saying stuff like, I will be killed tonight and stuff like that, that the next morning that comes is gonna be the morning where shit hits the fan. But we will see about that when I continue next time. So, as I was saying, not sure yet if I'll stream Umineko next week. Maybe I'll do something else. But I'll announce it in advance as usual. So, thanks everyone who came by and came listen to me read. Even if I accidentally skipped some text today and stuttered a lot. I hope you had fun. And see you next week. Bye. Good night.